Hello, and welcome back, my wonderful Tome Readers. I'm Lucy the Ferris, continuing of the Devil. Excuse me. Let's see, for those of you new here, not the best stream to start, because we are mid-story. But brief summary for those who maybe haven't seen the last VOD yet, or, the fact it's been a week since the last time. We are a criminal defense attorney. Who is also not on the total up and up of the law. Most specifically, we started this particular chapter 2, making a deal with a lower tier blue blood crime cell. We also found out that this setting, all gangs are considered terrorists. I already went off on tangent why that's a stupid fucking idea. But regardless, making a deal, getting some items from them, and it didn't really end on the best note for either of us groups. But regardless, shortly after that little expose, we went to go, pick up our adopted daughter slash notary? No, not notary. Shit. Is Sarah's profile here? Let me see. Yes, Sarah. Paralegal, that's a term. Paralegal, pretty much our assistant who helps with research type stuff. But yeah, she was working at a bar when, we need her doing stuff that is not paralegal necessary for reasons such as we don't have an active case at the time. Where we got picked up by a couple of low-level, no-name employees of this crime group to be summoned here. And also some very funny visual glitches happening just outside their garden while forced to wait. Let's see. The side of the Euro... Oh, yeah. The thing I talked about the other night. I'm not taking particular sides in the conflict itself that is happening. I did tell her the recent issues I had brought up the other night were out of line, and she should mind her own business in that regards. Not a defense of your actions so much as just like, it's been years. Don't have to bring it up all the time. And I just gave her the very great advice of just stay in her lane as much as possible, which should be, the most neutral expression to have when someone's having issues that is not directly affecting you. Some people need time to improve themselves. And even when they do, it tends to come in small steps. And it's not all at once flip like a fucking anime antagonist being turned into an ally. It doesn't happen in real life. Sometimes it takes a lot of help, a lot of the right people supporting you to be in that better place. Yeah, I'm sure she's not in a proper place to apologize either, not a real one. Because she, from what I saw and heard, it's like, alright, for these reasons, we're not forgiving them just yet, to her little Discord. Even her little conversation she was sharing there was not the sort of thing I think a good person has. It's not quite like a villain monologue type, the fuck are you on about, but it's certainly not the way a good person acts when trying to explain why their reasons were justified. If there is an apology coming for it, it is unlikely to be for a while. I think they need time to understand the ramifications of their actions. The fact that I told them it's like, hey, the reason you're having issue with them is something that applied to me in my past, when I actually did do a mistake, and yet people kept bringing it up in the least, not necessary, what is it? Least relevant scenarios of, it's like, nah, don't trust them. They almost did this, don't you know? It's like, wow. Oh no, I already saw the screenshots. No worries. No, there is actually a good moral thing related to that holier-than-thou topic of hers. And it's something that's coming up a lot. Not solely in the political sphere as of nowadays, but I think it's something that should be touched on, of purity politics. And we're going to go with a metaphor they probably won't like, but I'm going to say anyway. Thou who is without sin shall cast the first stone, which is to say it's like everyone makes fucking mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. And the whole thing is, you shouldn't go all in on someone just because they made small mistakes or things more along the lines of thought crimes than actual ones. Absolutely judge someone harshly for, say, suspected pedophilia or manipulation of minors. But if it's only ever been in, like, their head, and say, what if they came to you in confidence, like, hey, I've been having these worrisome thoughts, I'm trying to become better, it would not be someone's place to then say, it's like, thank you for coming to me in confidence, I'm gonna fucking tell everyone because I don't trust you not to act on them. That's horrific. And that applies to any thought crime, especially if someone's coming to you with help. It's like, hey, I don't want to do this, but I'm scared. Can you get me help? They're coming to you as a victim. And it'd be the same regardless of the crime. It's like pedophilia is an extreme one. What about, like, fucking theft at work? What about, like, your ex broke up with you in the most horrific way after cheating on you and trying to blame it on you not doing things, and that's why they had to cheat. And you want to just smash their windshield in with a hammer. You're not going to go fucking tell their ex that you're having that worry and you're trying not to give in to that rage. That's a fucking asshole thing to do. Purity culture going to such extremes over thought crimes is dumb. Because the thing is, people who are, like, unrepentant pedophiles or arsonists or rapists aren't gonna go just one day, it's like, man, I feel like such a piece of shit for actually doing these. I should just turn myself in. Maybe after doing it once, sure, but multiple times? Nah. Unrepentant criminals will not suddenly try and just wipe their hands clean and try and get help. Come on, to at least tell one. No, that is not the right way to act. Eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Hey, Tom. Sorry. Hey, Tommy. Good to see you. But, you know, it's... Think of it as an arms race, Hooded, that if you just try and one-up someone who did you wrong, and they think they're in the right, well, they're just going to try and one-up what you did. And if you one-up that responsive action, eventually you get to the fucking nuclear clusterfuck of an arms race. It is a far better thing to just ignore and block however and wherever you can. Get space, clear your head, calm down. Because truly, actions taken in anger that you later regret, there's no really taking them back because you've already acted on them. And it's hard. I've been there. I've had horrific... I've made massive mistakes in fits of anger, and it took me a long time to get past that. And I'll be honest, being the better person doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like you're being a coward, not letting them know how you feel or think. But in truth, it has gone a long way just in general. Because if I'm taking the time to calm myself, thinking before acting or speaking, well, a lot of people think I'm just a really good, chill person who thinks things through. What's more a case, I just don't trust myself to act on my first thought. And thinking things through carefully and doing something better improves my image. It gets me people who trust me more, and that's what I'm looking for. Because I am not solely my actions. I am also the thoughts and feelings I have all the time and don't share, because they're no one's business in my own. It is when I actually act on them, post something, say something, that I should be held accountable for, not what I keep within my mind. If I think poorly of someone, that's no one's business than me. If I share it, then that is what I can be held accountable for. I appreciate it. I'm unfortunately wise beyond my age, and I had to be an adult very, very young. But back to the original topic, purity culture, especially in politics, there is no overnight change. Much as it would be great, if only. People don't change overnight. In fact, you should probably be suspicious when they do. Especially with anonymous accounts like, say, Twitch, and you can just change your nickname or make a brand new account. You shouldn't just assume changing overnight is still the same person. It can be hacked. People can use the same mistake, multiple accounts or multiple sites with the same email, and get screwed out of their account. But it's fine. It's fine not changing for the better overnight. So long as you're trying and you're putting in the effort to become better, it may take years, it may take a decade, but the pursuit of improving yourself is not wrong if you have to take it slowly. It sucks having to adapt, but it's like you can't change a sleep schedule overnight. It It works best if done over multiple days. And so too do you need to adjust to changing how you react to things, what your knee-jerk reactions are. And if you can't change those reactions, giving yourself the time to hold back and think things through before actually acting on your knee-jerk reactions is far better than apologizing. Some things do truly need apology, but if you have to keep apologizing for years and years, it's less about what you did wrong and more about people not wanting to give you another chance. And regardless of whether you, or anyone listening right now, considers himself a devout Christian of any sort, or any of the Abrahamic religions, you do not have to give forgiveness to treat someone well. In fact, there are several moments in those books that their own people don't. They act poorly and later get better about that. If you have to forgive someone to be kind to them, then I'm sorry, but you're an asshole. I have been mistreated by horrific customers screaming in my face, and I still give them treatment with a smile, because nothing pisses them off more, and yet makes me look right in the eyes of the boss, than being able to be calm and composed when someone else is pissy for no good reason. Yeah, it's like, and that's why I say it doesn't matter if you follow them or not. It's like, you can be a good person without religion. You can be a decent person without forgiving, or forgetting either. But you can't hold someone accountable for something years and years old that they are trying to do better than, if you want them to actually get better. I think on that note, we're gonna move on to the game. But I did think it needed to be said. It's like, just very brief recap. People don't change overnight. So long as they're working towards change, you shouldn't hold them accountable all the damn time. You certainly shouldn't act in ways of one-upmanship and revenge to get back at them, because, I mean, you're just dragging things out. Oh, you started playing Minecraft PC? Nice. Hope to see some more results, because you were working on the vineyard, I think it was, from Godfather, something like that. I remember it being an big, expansive estate there, and I'm looking forward to seeing Sicily. Thank you. Sorry, my mind is just horrific nowadays. I think I mentioned in the Discord. It's like I had a big physical labor job a couple days ago, and oof, very physically draining. Gave up on it too much? I mean, so long as you don't delete the world. I mean, heck, even the Minecraft series I'm doing on stream, I do it in bits and bobs off stream. Some projects are so big, you gotta sometimes just put them on the shelf and gather a little bit of dust before you come back to it. But yes. So, yeah, I did the recap last time. We got summoned with some implied intimidation of what might happen if we didn't come along with a bunch of nameless guards, much like these mooks against the wall. And this is the young heir, Makoto of House Ikariya. First thing, oh yeah. Hey, it's nice to have plans. And, if it falls through, you'll learn from that. Always best to learn from your mistakes if you must make them. Because otherwise it's just wasted time. Let's see. Yeah, best of luck with that. I can't remember what voice. Did I do a voice for Makoto yet? I was trying to go like snooty rich kid with all the opportunities they could ask for and more. Oh, I can't remember gender. Do we get one from Makoto? Oh, wait. Let's roll past it. Does heir parent, unemployed, they're a student. Sorry, got distracted by my little fizzly thing. Does not say. I think I'm going to assume feminine for two reasons. Hair clips holding bangs back like this, which are not solely a feminine hairstyle choice, but it does tend to be more that way. And also, uniform ribbon like this. I think usually, and this might just be an anime thing, when there's a school uniform, men usually have like a regular tie, and girls have a bow tie or this kind of loose ribbon type knot. So we'll go with more feminine. So snooty rich girl. Makoto of House Ikariya. You, Morgan Crimn'ahl DuhFenz, have the great honor of being summoned before me. Is this actually her name? Criminal Defense? No. No, this has got to be Makoto, like, misunderstanding her job title, right? A criminal defense attorney? Wait a second, let's double check. Morgan... Okay, no, it doesn't have the last name there. And I could have sworn Chapter 1, her last name was Evangeline or something. I remember there being something with Officer Ray is, like, kind of making fun of her for the unfitting name. Don't bother bowing. Once you start, you'll end up prostrated all day, and we have important work to do. Right. Out of an abundance of respect for your time, Makoto, I should let you know that I still have no idea what I'm doing here. Oh. I'll have them nail on a bed of nails later or some such thing. Mrs. DuhFenz. Mrs. Really? The house is in need of your legal services. I gathered. Oh. Oh, right. Actually, there was one other thing I wanted to say before we got into this. That little sound effect reminded me. There is a hidden term for a new, different command. I'm thinking of doing this for certain streams. Not everything, but it's something relevant to the game I'm currently playing. As some of you know, I have exclamation point terms for activating throwables. No channel points, so it's not free. No channel points, so it's free so long as you're regular enough to have some of the background channel points that are done courtesy of Cloudbot. Which, with Tommy and Hooded here, both being fairly decent regulars, tends not to be a problem. But for this new one, I'm thinking of not having it tied to those secret Cloudbot points, and just having a very long cooldown in between actually using it. But I try to get this one simpler. It's of the devil, and try to do one of the more common terms you might think of for it. If anyone types it in chat, you will see it. And have a fun little new throw will bonk me on the head. Would you give me a moment to clear my throat? I need to switch gears. Un instant. Right then, so you want to hire me? One of our own is being slandered by multiple homicide charges. You will defend him. You want to hire me, and I'm flattered, Makoto, but do you pull my name out of a hat? Pick a random page in the phone book. I have many books on my phone. Libraries full of esoteric knowledge spread across countless tomes. Actually, I was about to make a comment about, it's like, is she so sheltered she doesn't know what a phone book is? But then I thought, cyberpunk future, it's possible actual factual phone books probably don't exist anymore. Probably be called, what, a phone tree? A phone directory to look up if it's online? You will have to be more specific. Sorry, I misspoke. What I mean is, this is House Ikariya. You must keep a small army of lawyers on retainer. Surely any one of them would be happy to help you. True, we have lawyers. Competent ones, expensive ones, some who are both. But the best of them are all preoccupied. That's it. They're all just preoccupied. Preoccupied means busy. Thanks. But I'm still not sure how my name specifically was. Do you have a customer survey you want filled out, Mrs. DuhFenz? You are recommended. What does it matter how it came about? Normally, it wouldn't matter. When the client I'm recommended to is one of the richest, most well-connected families in the country, it gives me pause. I don't have any friends in high places. Not anymore. That makes it hard to see this as a favor. Not when my employer doesn't even know my goddamn name. Okay, so it's not actually her legal name as her part as an attorney. That's great. Because that's the sort of name that maybe goes like, ma'am, did you change your name for your job? It's Crimn'ahl DuhFenz. Of course. My apologies. No doubt you have other questions. Very well. I'll permit you to ask them. Such a gentleman. Okay. So probably masculine genders then for Makoto here. Unless we're also making a dig at them, calling them a gentleman, because they don't get our names right. Let's start with the black suits who escorted us here. I do appreciate the warm welcome, Makoto of House Ikariya, really. But legal consultations are usually more private than this. Are we certain we need the peanut gallery? Let it not be said that the House Ikariya is not accommodating of its guests. We're more than capable of compensating for this. Nut allergy you allude to? Oh. That's either a very decent pun, and she's about to send them out, or the depths of their ignorance are deep. That's so sweet of you. But do all these guards really need to be present for this conversation? If you're referring to the additional security, it can't be helped, circumstances being what they are. Circumstances. And if you're referring to my retainers in general, then I suggest you step back into the garden and take a deep breath. Clearly, the city's fumes do not agree with your constitution. You must be lightheaded if you think you're worthy to hold a one-on-one audience with the next head of this illustrious house. He is a prodigy to be this insufferable at such a young age. Alright, how's Ikariya? If I wasn't brought here because of what happened last night, then this is just another job. Meaning all of this, starting back at the bar, has all just been their idea of a power move? Thank you for insisting that I get to visit your estate in person. It's beautiful here. An oasis of old-world sensibility amidst a desert of steel and neon eyesores, is what the house elders say. I've never seen anything like it. It matches your family's reputation for class. Ha! My family's reputation is power, not class. I take it a step further and guess you're renowned for violence rather than power. But that's a moot point. Violence can be classy. And from how this house is talked about in the headlines I read on the drive over, the nature of your family's reputation seems to vary greatly depending on who you ask. Some think you've got half the gangs in the city under your control. Others think you've left all that behind and are no worse than any other corporate family. Are you expecting me to ask what you think? What I think is that I'll need some basic information if I'm to adequately defend your interests. We are financiers. You don't say. Lending, investing, taking over, buying out. The Ikariya Financial Group was founded nearly 2 centuries ago. Loaning funds is high risk and high reward, but as you can see, our results speak for themselves. Ooh, and we got term for the Ikariya. Ikariya Financial Group is a private investment company. I believe that investing should be accessible to anyone, and that's best accomplished by tailoring their investment portfolio to suit their specific needs. Interested in working with us? Let's get started on your profile below so we can determine your options. Remember, even if you unfortunately aren't a good fit for IFG itself, we'll always be happy to set you with one or more of our partners that are better suited to your class. So we got this little blurb from their application resource. Interesting. Ikariya Financial Group, a fancy way of saying they got their stars on mobster loan sharks. It's not impossible to get this rich with loan sharking alone, but such unsavory work wouldn't get them into the ballrooms and boardrooms of tiers of society. Gotta rip people off with mortgages to do that. Ooh, that is close to home. Is lending the house's only income stream? No. Through Ikariya, our holding company, the house controls any number of what a civilian like you might call legitimate enterprises. And yes, we did found the Brenasian Pharmaceutical Corporation, but what's past is prologue. Brenasian? They're a drug company, one of the biggest. You're saying you've no relation to Brenasian presently? The company went public years ago, and Ikariya divested our shares not long after. We were given one seat on the board as a formality. That's the extent of it. Given. A family like this only takes. Why is he suddenly so humble? He doesn't know the meaning of the word. He's downplaying their pull within Renogen. Say more specifics about Renogen. A leader in pharmaceutical research, development, distribution. It puts your health before any other concern. Corporate goals. Put our medicine in the cabinet of every home. Red, get a monopoly. Improve patients' lives and their communities. Red, get a very good PR team to make it sound like such. Minimize our environmental footprint through sustainable ventures. It could be taken a couple different ways. Best case scenario, it's like trying to minimize cost expenditures coming from fines. Operate with dignity and pride in our ethics. Those are just buzzwords, that means nothing. Deliver consistent, steady growth to our investors, which is say they are for profit before everything else, because that's all investors care about, profit. Shortly after our founding, research developed... Met informal... I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Met inform... Those sounds don't really feel good together. Metformin, the first orally ingested treatment for type 2 abnormal diabetes, freeing millions of adolescents suffering from its effects from being subjected to painful injections. So perfection, driven by purpose. I can believe that, actually. Never stop searching for the next step in the evolution of what it means to be healthy. That's a tagline for an ad. So, Rungen Pharmaceuticals, for-profit, creator, developer, and distributor of medicines. Very profitable because people are always getting sick, it is said. So I'm getting a music to just really clear my throat. Yeah, that should fix me for a little bit. Okay, so if he's downplaying their pull with a Renegen, and the house must have a reason to want to distance themselves from the company. So, yes, something shady is going on with this Renegen company, and even the former Triad group turned wealthy family is trying to go, no, that's too much for us. Interesting. You're being very modest, Makoto, and more than a little vague. It's only polite. It's unnecessary. Talking to your lawyer. You aren't my lawyer, Mrs. DuhFenz, but you will be working for me. So you'll have to become accustomed to putting your needs second. Wait, isn't that technically the responsibility of any lawyer, actually? Because, yeah, you get paid, and unless your client gets fucking arrested, no guarantee you get paid after that. So therefore, your responsibility will always be... Okay, whatever. He's deflecting. And if he's trying to be subtle about it, he's not doing it well. I doubt it's possible a company with as big a boot heel as Rengen has no relation to anything that happens in the city, but I'll drop it for now. I'm in no rush to wade into boardroom politics again anytime soon. That seems like a flag for more boardroom politics are going to come up. Alright, Makoto himself. I'd like to know a bit more about you, actually. How long have you... I am the only son of Raphael, Ikariya, and the only grandson of Daisuke, Ikariya. CEO of the Ikariya Financial Group, patriarch of this family, and chairman of the house. I gather those titles are all one and the same. As one destined to succeed the headship, commanding the family's servants is my responsibility and my birthright. So if one of them needs a lawyer, it falls to you. When our loyal men, women, or their families need help, it is my solemn duty to ensure that they are taken care of. By any means necessary. And your age? What a boorish question. I knew that peasants raised outside our stratus had little understanding of the finer things. But I assumed that one with a law degree would be educated enough to know what is and isn't appropriate to discuss. Just because I am younger than some does not mean I am any less capable of managing the people who work for me. Does it, men? Sir, no, sir! You definitely command their respect. That is no coincidence. One of the most frequently noted characteristics of great men who have remained great is loyalty to their subordinates. So says George S. Patton. That's so interesting. This is an important point. Perhaps another quote is called for. I don't think that's necessary. I'll grant you another. If soldiers are punished before they have grown attached to you, they will not prove submissive. Some Makoto likes me Anyway, jokes out there. And unless submissive, then will be practically useless. So says Sun Tzu. Back to back. Yes, the second quotation was called for in this instance, if only to emphasize to you that no one stays useless to House Ikariya for very long, one way or another. Alright, finally this manor. God, it is oh so clear how not fully comfortable with their position they are yet. It's like, if they were truly, like, the head of the house to such an utmost degree of class, so to say, why is their little sweater vest uniform wrinkled? Why wouldn't they just have that tailored to fit? Why are their arms so wide when their frame does not show them as a very large person? It's almost like they're not comfortable in the coat they wear. But they must, because it is their station. It is the role they must play. And I'd like to make a comment on this, but I'm not sure if it's like a skirt or like an apron over the front. Because like the way it's tied here makes me think apron before anything else. So this manner. I'll admit I was a little taken aback to step off an elevator and into your enclosure out there. The gardens. Yes, our groundskeepers worked hard on them. Does the illusion in the sky come from a live recording of somewhere else? Or is it generated programmatically? That'd take quite the occasion. It is impressive, yes. As for how it works, I don't have the technical minutiae in front of me at the moment. That's okay. Of course it is. A lion does not concern himself with the exterior decorations of the sheep. The meme reference game is on point for this games team. Just incredible. Because this absolutely sounds like something a person in power might say, pretending power and authority where they are not necessarily comfortable yet. It's your exterior and your decorations. What does it matter, anyway? If you want the specifics so badly, I'll have one of the servants put you in contact with a contracting firm. That's all right. Something tells me the consultation alone would break my bank account. Thank you for indulging my curiosity so graciously, Makoto. Conquer the stingy through generosity. So says Buddha. Correct. Perhaps your education is not quite as deficient as I feared. But I should make clear that in this case I was using the quote to subtly imply that you are stingy with your own graciousness. Got it? Yep. Shall we move on? I believe you mentioned a homicide. Multiple homicides. Tell me more. My head of security was arrested by the police last night in the lower wards. Uh-oh. They found him brutally beaten, drugged, and tortured. And instead of bringing him straight to a hospital, they arrested him for murder. Right. He's been framed, and you must prove his innocence. This is new. This is new from Little Miss Genius Criminal Defense Attorney. Oh, so prepared for everything. And also knows exactly who the victims in question, and hell, the client, were. We've seen them before. Oh, coincidence. Un instant. Dos. Is there something wrong with your voice? Is that that peanut allergy you mentioned? No, I just lost my train of thought there for a second. I'm not used to my luck changing this fast. One of the richest families in the city wants to pay me to prove a man's innocent of a crime I framed him for. Right then, might I ask why he was found in the lower wards? I get the impression that Ikariya territory is generally positioned more vertically. This whole city is our territory. But it's true that our presence is felt more strongly in some areas than others. They captured him early yesterday. He was ambushed by cowards and dragged down to that stain of a neighborhood to be tortured senselessly. Well, he was tortured. I can attest to that much. I don't believe in senseless violence. Man, the context that changes that. Oof. There's always a purpose, and it's usually staring you in the face. People just don't like making eye contact. Do you have any idea why he was taken, or by whom? It was the Blue Bloods. They made no effort to hide it. In a worthy opponent, I might call that commendable, but knowing them, they're just too stupid to value deniability. I'm sure. And I'm sure there's no love lost between your groups, but kidnapping and torturing is beyond the pale. I agree. And the police are even worse. I expected no help from those incompetent fools. But these charges they're making, they're utterly ridiculous. Of course they are. But don't worry, I'm confident that to think they want to pin 5 murders on him. Oh, hold on. 5. Wait a second, let me double check the count. We had the person with prosthetic hands, real bruiser, threatened us with a gun to the forehead. The blue hair boss, who I actually loved his hairstyle. It's in the thumbnail for the first VOD for this on YouTube. Check it out. Let's see. There was the mousy little kid at the front door. Wait, there were 2, actually. The one outside that was keeping watch. But we don't know if that's the 5th person yet. So the person who was on the inside of the door, that makes 3. And the person who looked like they were in like Breaking Bad cosplay with just like a full plastic white outfit, goggles on their forehead. Yeah, that was only 4. And the person locked up in the closet who was being drugged in... that was presumably this person we're going to have to defend. Ooh. How the tables have turned. Actually, wait, it did feel like I cut off something she was saying, though. Let's see. Wait, I could have sworn there's a button for looking at the logs. One sec. Maybe I just can't see in this particular moment. 5. Okay, here we go. Backlog. Don't worry, I'm confident that okay, she got cut off and that I can help with this. 5. Did you say 5? Yes, 5. It's absurd. I can only take credit for 4 bodies. Acting so high and mighty, so affronted, so eager to blame us for the death of one of their officers. Oh, okay, they were resisting arrest. Got it. A dead cop. Is this what those mercs were advertising themselves with? What do you mean one of their officers? Was there a UC or... No. They made the ridiculous claim that he killed some uniform while resisting arrest. As if a member of our house would fear prison. I should never dare to think I got lucky here. These circumstances sound very complex, Makoto, and police take the death of one of their own very seriously. What makes you so certain of this man's innocence? Because this man's name is Sosuke Ikariya. The Hound. I've known him all my life. Well, 3 or 4 years of it. There is no individual more honorable more devoted, more trustworthy. And not once have I ever known him to be violent, impulsive. He didn't do this. I know he didn't do this. But proving that is your job. About that, I haven't actually accepted the job yet, Makoto. But you will. If for no other reason than because we shall pay you more than you customarily receive for a contract. Considerably more. Not everything's a question of money. Yes, your meaning is taken. It needn't be silver and gold. You'll have no complaints with your compensation. The favor of House Ikariya can go a long way in this city. As can our wrath. I don't appreciate being threatened. I don't find it funny, even coming from a kid. However, if the state thinks whoever killed those 4 bloods also killed a cop, I can't afford to sit this hand out. They'll go over every centimeter of that building. One wrong move, one hair out of place. If I lose here, I lose. Period. But if I win, throwing an Ikariya-sized wallet in the pot beforehand is all upside. I understand, Makoto of House Ikariya. I'll take Sosuke's case. You say that as if it were ever in doubt. A true prodigy. But he might be right. Maybe it never was. I chose to put that gun to this Sosuke's hands, when I could have just plunged that knife into his temple. Maybe the line drawn from that moment to the razor edge I'm walking right now is perfectly straight. A line drawn from one point to another is always perfectly straight. A better metaphor would be a bullet's trajectory. For all the talk of wind resistance and breathing patterns, Coriolis effect, chaos theory, you can't exactly act surprised when your shot lands right where the crosshairs were pointing. Morgan's my last name, by the way, before you start writing any checks. You should have enunciated. Actually, wait, is that on us? Did we introduce ourselves as Morgan Crimn'ahl DuhFenz? Let's see, we're in transit. Alright, one sec. First things first, let us drop a save. Oh, are there only 3 pages of saves? Ooh, this is going to be interesting. I guess I really don't need these early ones anymore now that I've played all the way through, but oof. It did make it easier wanting to go back for specific scenes, for screenshots and thumbnails. Rough but understandable. For now, we'll just resave here. We're also going to load really quick and just kind of like rush forward to see how we introduce ourselves. Because, like, did we introduce ourselves in a very weird way? Also, wait, and the funny animation. For those who missed it last time, come on, give us a leaf fall. Here it is. Look at this. Look at this. Right at the edge of the water. And over here. Over here. Yep. Just the layered effect. Makes it so clear it's all fake. Okay, let's see. Skip is control. Yep. Okay. I guess I gotta click through because last time I did go through everything. Damn. Oh, there you go. Okay. That old man who had so much aura, he had farmed it for centuries, apparently. Okay, coming in. Also, still a little myth that the establishing shot for this room started high enough that I could not tell the perspective. It's a little annoying. Come on. Here is the young master. Come on, there we go. Oh, the sound boom. Come on. Come on. Come on, how do we introduce ourselves to the young master? Is it really a case of they were too smart to really understand it? We did. Oh, no. We did introduce ourselves, Morgan at Crimn'ahl DuhFenz. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. That man, this child. Oh man, if that was an intentional thing said as like a power play, that would have been hilarious. But no, they're just... they're not experienced enough for this position. But for some reason, that we're probably going to find out in the course of this chapter, they're forced to take up the mantle as the head of house. Hey there, boss. Of course I'm fine. What did you think was going to happen? Yeah, all good news. I've got quite the paycheck coming my way. Maybe bad news for you, if you get a large crowd tonight. Yeah, tell Sarah to meet me at the police station address I'm about to send. I got work for her to do. There will be quite the paycheck indeed waiting for me, assuming I can win. But can I afford to accept it? Ugh. Hey, the witch. If I recall from the context clues of last time, we were getting text from the witch. They're our mother? Or at least maternal guardian figure. It could be like an aunt or adoption agency. We don't know Morgan's backstory that well yet. Hey. Were any of those jokes around the office about your clients being connected to organized crime true? What? Is this some kind of honeypot? Trying to get a grasp on something. Now I know you're baiting me. World's easiest, that's what she said, layup. I'll still bask at that shit, though. I don't give a fuck. Why do you make everything so... Oh, no, that's child's play. That's what she said material there, Morgan. Come on. Like, come on, Freckles. Low-hanging fruit. I have no idea what you're talking about. So either Morgan, with her particular backstory, does not understand innuendo as a character trait, or they are just refusing to play witches' games. Obviously. Why you ask me about that mafia shit, though? I'm working a case for the Ikariya, whom I assume you've heard of. Definitely. Under circumstances that are probably vulgar. Absolutely. Which you'd be happy to brag about to me. Anytime. But I'm not well positioned to turn down the job outright. So I'd like to know whether they'll be resistant about parting ways afterward. Why? Do you not like getting paid lots of money? I don't like being chained. Fair enough. So you're like, just asking for my advice? The aura loss is incredible. Not going to attempt to parse that. I doubt you ever could. My generation's sense of humor is practically impregnable. It was very basic non sequitur, Auntie. Okay, aunt, not mother, but potentially still raised her. It just wasn't funny. Not even. A non sequitur would be, what's the charge? That's just getting back on topic. The charge is homicide. 5 counts. Meh. You're probably fine. All the stuff you hear about mobsters being clingy with their lawyers, it's because they don't want anyone who's been through their underwear drawers running around, telling tales. Whatever poor fucker they pinned multiple homicides on is obviously not anyone important. I don't think he was framed. Not by his own people. Nah, pinned as in stuck with. Like a chore. Powerful people, mob or no. If they get lawyers, it's for tax evasion and conspiracy charges. Dirty work's left to the pawns. And the whole point of a pawn is you don't have to think twice about trading them off. Alright. Guess I know the rumors are true then. Yep, you uncovered my cool fucking secret. Listen, actors, singers, celebs, they all like expensive things and being the center of attention. Mobsters have money to burn and want the cologne of legitimacy. Everyone wants what they can't have. Okay, chill, F. Scott Fitzgerald. Great looking Gatsby ass. Still pine for thee, motherfucker. What? Honestly, even I'm barely getting... Is everyone wants what they... Oh, wait, that is kind of the theme of The Great Gatsby, isn't it? Guy just blowing his wealth, parties all the fucking time, trying to attract the one person he could not get. Yeah, I get it. I get the reference now. Well played, witch. You are better read than Morgan here. All I'm saying is there's mutually beneficial arrangements to be made between the rich and famous, and the rich and infamous. So you bet your ass I was in those rooms, negotiating appearance fees, and taking my 30%. 30%? You really are shameless. That's what she said. Alright, right. Thanks as always for the sage counsel. Hey, if you're really feeling grateful, do me a solid and call your rents. They say they never hear from you. Wait, her parents are alive? I'm sorry, just with what we've seen of her backstory, I assumed they either, abandoned her, died in a horrific accident, or died in a horrific, air quotes, accident. Probably caused by this little troublemaker. And I know you can't be that busy if you're bored enough to talk to me. Ooh. They're the ones who are busy. Are they, though? Are they really? Okay. New profile, Victoria Masters. Our aunt. Is this a prosthetic? It's hard to tell if it's prosthetic or she just has, an elbow brace and a prosthetic hand. And is for some reason way skinnier. There's probably a middle school level jack-off joke somewhere in there. But damn, those nails. Let's see. Weight depends on the time of day. Maybe minus blood. Lawyer to the rich and famous, semi-retired. She likes waterfalls, manicures, macadamia nuts, and dislikes getting ghosted by my adorable goddaughter. Wait, is she maybe not genetic aunt, but just... What? I'm getting a little confused on the family tree here. We'll put it off until we get more info. drinks. She prefers cosmopolitan and making a double. Collects favors and friends in high places, and her luck, SSR on the first pull. I don't play Gotcha, but I believe SSR is like... It either stands for super, super rare, or it pretty much means super, super rare. Interesting. Alright. August 14, 2086. Holding room 3. There's a mic recording. Obviously, I wasn't sure what would happen after I left that crime scene. I wasn't sure what I'd find walking in here to speak to my client. But I definitely wouldn't have bet that the next time I saw this man alive, he'd actually look worse. Oh, yeah. So let's take a look at him. Size him up. This Sosuke... Pretty sure he did not have this jacket, or at least like an overshirt type thing, on. I don't recall if he's bare-chested, but I think he had like a simple shirt on. Let's see, he definitely did not have that shiner. The way it sounded in the kind of prologue to this chapter, he's getting like smacked up the side of the head, so maybe this is from the interrogation. Broken nose, possibly. But that eye, oof, unlikely. Because it sounded like they were injecting things into his eye. Unless I'm getting mixed up with something. Anyway, this is what's keeping the kind of overshirt on rather than buttoning or zipping. He's got bandages on that hand. Yeah, I could see a look like this as someone who tried to fight the police. Did you not hear me? I said I'm your lawyer. Oh, I heard you. No. Oh, I heard you. I'm just not interested in wasting my breath responding. I'm sorry, is there a misunderstanding here? Not at all. I understand exactly what you are. You and all your fellow. Your companion is staring at me very intently. She does that. Don't worry about it. Sarah, blink. You're embarrassing me in front of the Yakuza. That's a very dated word. You'd really prefer I call you an orca? I'd prefer you give up and leave. What are you talking? I'm sure they told you I'd been softened up. That they'd broken me and I'd be ready to sign whatever you put in front of me. Sorry to disappoint you, but the Hound of Ikariya doesn't heal. So, as nice as that would sound, it would sound better, one, if someone else was saying that about you, and two, teaching a dog to heal is like one of the basics of training. So, it actually does not fit that well when describing you as the Hound of the family. But from what little we got of him, I don't think he's the brains of the operation, regardless. Cool. Sosuke, I'm gonna repeat myself plainly and slowly because you clearly have multiple head injuries. I'm not a lawyer. I am your lawyer. Ah, right then. Very good. Thank you for coming. I apologize if I misspoke just now. I'd misspeak too if I'd lost as much blood as you. Morgan, Esquire. I'll be representing you from here on out. Sosuke, of House Ikariya. Sarah, paralegal and bartender. You're very young to have 2 jobs. Or tend bar. Well, it is only part-time. Ah, right. So tell us, Sosuke of House Ikariya, what is your routine? You look very fit. My what? Are you asking about... Do you not have me on file? Sorry, which firm are you from? DD, MPM? I'm in private practice. You mean you're not a mob lawyer? No, but please don't hold it against me. Everyone has to start the path to corruption somewhere. There are serious risks involved in representing a man with my background against charges like these. It's very sweet of you to... They say I killed a cop, miss. I realize I may look a sorry state at the moment, but I've not fallen so low that I'd sully the house's name by dragging a civilian into... Makoto thought differently. The young master. You've seen him. How is he? Where is he? Is he unarmed? He was sitting pretty atop a literal throne, surrounded by armed guards, last I checked. Thank you for that. No one's told me anything, and If the young master has spoken on this matter, I won't go against his judgment. There you go, you're learning. But I do hope you understand what you're getting into. I'm already in it, Sosuke. How will I understand what I'm in is something I think you'd be able to help with. Very well. What do you want to know? Let's start with the taking captive part. Makoto told me that this all started because you were taken captive yesterday. What happened? It was 2 p.m. The young master had just finished a meeting with a VIP in Crane Tower, floor 108. This feels like the second time 108 has come up during this. One sec. 108 is relevant. What is it? 108. Let's see. I know... what is it? Trigrams, right? Incorporates both Hinduism and Buddhism. Okay. Okay, someone's coming back. We'll see which things it might be pertaining to later in this chapter, I'm sure. 2 p.m. He wasn't in school. I'll ask that you refrain from mocking the young master in my presence. He is a child. Anyone can see that. But you've no idea the pressures that have been placed on him. Whatever my client wants. As I was saying, it was just after 2 p.m. Me and the rest of my team escorted him to the elevators along our planned exit route. But our lift stopped suddenly, in between floors 61 and 62. That was when I made a mistake. I had a bad feeling. Thought it best to get Makoto to the ground floor ASAP. So I forced the elevator open, crawled out, pulled him out after me. But just as he got out, the elevator started up again, separating us from the rest of the guard. It was a trap. A 50-50 one. Staying wasn't safe either. They could stop the elevator. It's not a stretch to think they could drop it, too. He just lost the coin flip when he decided to exit. Yes, Sarah. It was a trap. Floors 60 through 70 were undergoing heavy retrofitting. The other elevators weren't responding. Comms were jammed. I'd reviewed the entire building's blueprints beforehand. Not very useful information, obviously, for a floor undergoing renovations. But I knew that there was a construction elevator we could get to, on the other side of the tower. I had to act fast. There's no time to doubt myself, and I did something unforgivable. You left the kid? I picked him up over my shoulder. Oh, well, that sounds like fun. House, forgive me. Everything the young master does for the sake of his name's dignity, and kids are tougher than you think. I think he'll get over it. So you escorted him to the service elevator. I take it that's when things... Yes. I'm sorry, but I only remember a few vague details about what happened next. But I'll tell you what little I can. After I activated the lift... Ooh, flashback. Oh, some familiar silhouettes. Two assailants emerged from under a tarped doorway at my 7 o'clock, one tall, one thin. Tall was around 190 centimeters in his weight, I'd say 100 kilograms with mods. Thin was maybe 175, but slouched. Modded as well, but what I saw looked stripped down, so he couldn't have been heavier than 70 kilo. They had needle guns. Slow to fire, slow to take effect. A memorable choice. Taller one shot first, jerked his arm when he pulled the trigger. Bad habit usually favored by street slinger punks who are used to compensating for the kickback of jailbroken zippers. He might as well have been aiming at the ceiling. Thin lines up his shot properly, laser sight dialed in on the young master's left trapezoid. I shift into a horse rider stance and deflect the needle with my weapon. The lift doors open behind me just as another shooter steps forward at my 3 o'clock. Or so I thought, but all they had was a laser pointer. Literally. A cheap trick. But it worked. I hear a click from 8 o'clock, turn my neck, and feel a weight punch into my deltoid. Dullish kind of pain for an instant. I realize I'm already going numb, and that's when I squeeze. Squeeze? He's talking about his mods. That's how I've always described it. Others say they flex, or pull, or hold. I squeeze. Akita Type 2 External Thoracic Booster. Some burst strength and pain-killing capabilities, but in short, it's a reflex enhancer. Make 1 second feel like 15. In hindsight, makes it feel like you were in a marathon during those 15 seconds, once the kickback gets you. But I digress. I moved. Got Makoto into the elevator, wrenched the door shut myself, taking 3 more needles to the back in the process. So the fact we got chips there, 3 needles in the back is an important detail. I remember saliva pooling on my lip and then cold concrete scratching my cheek. Okay, new. So far, all I know about you is your first and last name. It's a very important last name. But I take your meaning. Yep. And in truth, the first thing you should know is that I'm not worthy of it. Why? You disqualified due to pre-existing conditions? I was born Sosuke Hayakawa, 4th son of a distant branch family. The only reason I bear the name of Ikariya is because I was adopted into the main house as an infant, in exchange for lifelong service to the main family. Sounds like a great deal. He doesn't think so. Lifelong? How did you serve the Ikariya as an infant? There are various tax benefits if you have exactly 2 children. Don't be absurd. I'm what you would call a bodyguard. From the time I was able to walk, I was trained to be of service to the house by protecting the heir with my life. From the time you're able to walk, there are a lot of demand for toddler bodyguards. All that's ever been asked of me is that I stand in the right place at the right time. Do you mean like in family photographs? Like in front of a blade? Even a child can manage that. That's deep. The house has given me everything I've ever had and taught me everything I've ever known. What meager service I can offer in return means nothing compared to the debt I owe them. You view your relationship with your family as a transaction? It is not something so cold, girl. It's a matter of loyalty. Right. So if you were standing before a judge and they asked your name and occupation, you would say, "My name is Sosuke Ikariya, and I'm an eternal servant for a living." I would say my name is Sosuke Ikariya, and I work as a head of personnel security of the Ikariya Financial Group. Alright, their profile. Head of personal security and of the Ikariya group. Likes whetstones, paperbacks, and matcha. Dislikes the opera, wasabi, and insects. The last one feels very like one of these things is not like the other. Favorite author is Alexander Dumas. Oh, no, that's another philosophy person. That's all I can remember about them. Ugh. Prefers his coffee as cafe americano. And default status, non-work related messages will be blocked. Ever the professional. And what does that entail exactly? I'm the young master's bodyguard. I lead all his security teams. Nice to properly meet you. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. And I'm Sarah, paralegal and bartender part-time. Yes, I believe you already mentioned that. It seems like we were all doing it twice. Well, thank you for your paralegal services, Sarah. Aw, he's nice. And here I had the impression you had no sense of humor. What do you mean? It seems in this particular instance, Adonai, it was you who misidentified his proper manners as being sarcastic. Glad we've all broken the ice. Alright, Sosuke. So you were guarding Makoto. These men laid a trap, targeting with tranks, failed. Then they take you instead? Yes, to my great shame. You were outnumbered and ambushed, but you still managed to protect Makoto. What's there to be ashamed of? That I didn't see it coming. You're saying this has happened before. Dozens of attempts in the past year, some headed off in the early stages, some sidestepped entirely, and some was stopped with force. I knew their tactics, and I knew our vulnerabilities. Yet still I failed. Sosuke, that is not incorrect. Adonai, am I wrong? Shouldn't a bodyguard get at least one shot off before being taken down? Shot? What do you mean, shot? You were not carrying a firearm? No, no one on the team had guns. How's that? None of us on the security team had firearms with us. But you're a gangster. I'm a head of personnel security for the Ikariya Financial Group. Walking onto an allied group's property armed to the teeth insults their hospitality, makes the house look insecure or worse, impotent. And I'm not a security expert, but I do think there's some gray area between armed to the teeth and empty-handed. I mean, didn't you just say you deflected their attack? I was not defenseless just because I wasn't carrying a gun. Oh? I had my sword. So lame. Oh. So that's where the sword came from. Got it. So cool. You walk around town with, what, a samurai sword? You just assume it's a katana? Is it? Yes. It is a signifier of my position within the house and shows that I'm acting as a representative of it. Is it ceremonial, then? No. It is quite sharp. Bringo, welcome, welcome. Oh yeah, it's not just fucking Wednesday. It's fucking windy Wednesday. I would just say it's like fucking dropped to about 10 degrees at least, just from wind chill. But welcome in. Thanks for Wilhelm. Ooh, you have books library or purchased? Corpse. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Enjoy your books. Let's see, catch up on what you met. Right, I'm pretty sure you were here last time. So you saw about how that deal went down with the 4 gangbangers and their one interrogation target. let's see, catch up to speed. We got away from that scot-free. Then got picked up on the bar by some of the Ikariya's people because they need a lawyer, a defense attorney for one of their guys. This guy, in fact. Who the charges against him are the violent deaths of 4 people, as well as 1 cop while they were, quoting, resisting arrest. Which is to say, this is the person who was locked up in that room being interrogated when we had our deal. 2 of the books pre-purchased and 3rd one in one sitting today. Nice. Always good to be able to read your wonderful new books. God, I miss the days with less responsibilities. I could buy a brand new book and read it overnight, fucking over my schedule. Yes, this is a torture victim, which, unlike Chapter 0, we just, circumstances as they were, happened to get hired to defend him. So yeah, House Ikariya, very big deal. Right, and he's also the bodyguard of the sassy young child who had hired us for this position. Apparently he had been only locked up for a day before we went down and did our deal. This is the middle of the next day after that happened. So he had not been interrogated long. I guess, but he's still kind of healthy enough to be up, walking around, and grumbling in a police station. But yeah, it's going to be a really hard defense because, a cop did die during it. So it's going to be an uphill battle. But that also means that the samurai sword that we found there was his. Okay, such terrible puns. But the worse the pun, the more enjoyable it is. Because a good pun, well, you measure that and how much people gush ugh in response. Destiny. Nice. Oh, right. Before I continue really quick, I did add a new throwable. But the triggering word is secret. It's up to you to find it. The only hint you get is it is related to this game, and you will not need the exclamation point, so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, no, it is quite sharp. I can attest to that. I cannot say it loud because I wielded that. That's a good one, though. Oh, it's probably in terrible condition by now, seeing how the city's police manhandle everything else they touch. Speaking of which, perhaps we should move on to the night's main event. I tried for Makoto, got you instead. Took you to lower wards. Why? I've been wondering that myself. Aren't you essentially worthless? Ooh. Ow. As a hostage, she means. I knew that. Thinking back, I was surprised myself to wake up at all, let alone in captivity. But it seems they had questions they wanted to ask me. What do you remember? Whatever they used on me. I can remember some things, but how much of it was real, what order it happened in, it's all... Just say whatever comes to mind. It can be anything. Sights, smells, voices. There are no wrong answers. I was bound. My wrists bound above my head. Tied to something. It smelled like iron, rattled like old iron. Tiles beneath my feet. Some kind of bathroom or decontamination area. Good guess. They asked me questions. I said things. Loose lips, like being drunk for the first time again. But I'm confident that other than vulgarities, it was all incoherent. Because there were shocks. taste my blood. Must have bit my tongue during the spasms. And there were beatings, of course. I wouldn't have guessed. Adonai, do you need corrective lenses? Ah, Sarah. Sarcasm is just how I grieve a lost opportunity, Sarah. Lost opportunity? Yeah, it's a damn shame. From what I can see of it, a pretty face like yours would go a long way with a jury if it wasn't pulverized. Ridiculous. Is he blushing? Oh my god, he is! I agree about his face, Adonai, but I don't believe it is his only strong feature. Let us move on. Really? Well, in that case, how did your captivity end? Do you recall escaping? I was blindfolded the whole entire time, but my ears weren't boxed so bad. There was a door that squeaked and whined, so I always knew when someone was coming or going. One voice asked questions, mostly it was light. Another voice grunted when he hit me. Heavy. Other voices came and went, and then eventually there was talk. Through the door I heard they were all talking to someone else. A new voice. Was it high-pitched or low? Loud or soft? It doesn't matter. What's important is that it belonged to someone new. Ooh. Yeah, it sounds like a lot going on with some of these, the core people. I mean, that's the enjoyment of this. Well, not serious, because they're not all, like, legally connected. Setting, yeah. Someone besides you and the dead who was there last night. Did you make out any part of their conversation? No, not a word. But there was a loud noise. Gunshots. Followed by shouting and ugly sounds. And then a hollow pain in my skull as I lost consciousness again. When I next came to, I had something in my hand. In my hands. Something sharp. I didn't even think to ask what it was or where it came from. I just started working at the bindings. Rushed, clumsy, poking myself in the process. But I cut them loose and took the gag out. Blindfold was so tight I cut it rather than try and... Same thing must have been acting as a bandage, because when I took it off, between the light and the pain, I thought my head had split open. Took me a long time to stand up. Felt like I could lie on that cold, disgusting floor forever if I just... But something was poking me. Something tucked into my waistband. The gun. A gun. Imagine my surprise. Checked the safety chamber reflexively, but only saw 2 spent slugs. I was too tired to be confused, so I just walked out that squeaky door and into red. Just red. Then I was blinking at an IV, handcuffed to a stretcher in an ambulance, some cop reading me my rights, saying that I killed 5 people. No, wait. Some judge or official said that later. When I woke up in the ambulance, all they said was that I was a cop killer. Omitting some strong language. I don't understand. You were held captive, interrogated, tortured. But then you woke up armed and were able to escape. The cops didn't ask me any questions, and I wouldn't have answered if they had. It's been nearly a full day, and I'm just now saying aloud for the first time. It truly sounds absurd. This is your world, Sosuke, not mine. Do you have any theories on what happened? Only 2 possibilities come to mind. In the first scenario, one or more of my captors wanted to kill me, but need an excuse to do so. So they let me escape. They give me a knife, an unloaded gun, then wait for me to stumble out so they can miss me and be done with it. But the plan doesn't work. Somehow, I limp out of the room and shoot, cut, stab, kill them all. That would be quite the feat, given the condition you say you were in. Yes, a tale for the ages. But it's not possible. Why isn't it possible? Even if he had the motive and they were stupid enough to give him the opportunity, he was still lacking bullets. Oh, wait. Is that the right thing to say, actually? How did he describe the gun? Check the safety, the chamber reflexively, but only saw 2 spent slugs. We don't know that. Oh wait, and what was just said? He was still lacking a knife? The knife I took out Miller with. Put it right into Sosuke's hands after wiping my prints off, and he just told us how he used it to cut himself free. Sosuke had everything he needed to take out Creek's pod, except... In the brief I read, 2 of the pod were shot to death. I'm sure you're a highly qualified bodyguard, Sosuke, but I doubt you can fire a gun without bullets. No, I cannot. See, that seemed like a trick thing. Like, to admit there were no bullets. Because, like, he said he had a gun. Doesn't mean it was a gun that was only chambered for 2 rounds total. He just said that there were 2 spent. No, I cannot. As I said, the gun I woke up with had already fired both its shots. But then if we tell the police that the gun wasn't loaded, wouldn't that clear Sosuke's name for 2 of the murders? There's no proof the gun was already empty by the time he got his hands on it. She's right. That gun was some kind of jailbroken mag rail. The only residue it'd leave behind is static. So long as my prints are on it, that's all the evidence they need to claim I fired it. How about that second possibility, then? The second possibility is that someone walked into that building, killed my captors, and then tried to frame me for it. That sounds like lunacy. We've already eliminated the other possibility. Insane trumps impossible. Like it or not, this bad Samaritan theory is our best shot. What is it? I'm just surprised you believe me. You haven't even asked if I did it. I never ask. It helps that I can usually tell. Yeah, of course. Why would she ask? Well, I mean, for one, regardless of the truth of the matter, it's her job to prove someone innocent. It's kind of hard to do that if they just come out and say, it's like, yeah, no, I did it. You need to get me off the hook. So it's just good policy to leave it up for the courts to decide. Especially because, and this isn't something, Johnny Law will admit to you, if a crime is seen as justified in the scenario of which it happened, jury nullification can say it's like, they did it, they don't deserve punishment. And this is usually for cases like killing someone in self-defense. If they're coming for you, you somehow manage to get your hands on their firearm and kill them, you shouldn't be accused of murder just because you happen to get the handgun in that exchange. Situations like that, Notice if it makes any difference here. Even I don't know if I'm guilty. You were drugged and beaten. You're still injured even now. And we just reasoned that you couldn't have killed your captors without help. What makes you think you might still be guilty? Because I've killed before. Pale spark flickers to the back of my mind. My index finger rises slightly, lips part. Was I expecting this? Stepping into the criminal underworld? Looking forward to it? A rare opportunity to speak frankly with someone else who's... You mean... Yes. I was in the military. Oh, not the direction. Anyone expected it, I'm sure. Oh, wait, I just realized he's got some very minimal stubble. Man, that really does blend in when his hair is this dark. Okay. I've taken lives. Many times. That doesn't make you a murderer. Soldiers are given orders. Oh, Sarah's gonna learn. I've killed people. Whether or not his superior asked me to doesn't change that fact. But soldiers... Are you a soldier, Sarah? No? So drop it. She is good at following orders. It can take years to acquire that skill. I imagine it comes easy for androids. Yes, I suppose that's... Wait, that's an android? Did you miss the glowing barcode? Right here, on the cute bang setup she's got. And ignore my self-introduction. Oh, look, I'm tired. Thought those were highlights or something. Did my hair catch your eye? You have discerning taste. Ooh, wait. It could be because he's only got one really good working eye right now. But if it ends up being that he needs like glasses or contacts to see, one of the defenses against using the gun could be that with what ability to aim. You see, each strand is actually... Was there something you wanted to say, Sosuke? I've taken lives before, so I know how I feel afterwards. Then. And how do you feel right now? Right now, I feel... What is it? You remember something? Yes. After I stepped out of that door, I said I saw red. I do remember one other sensation. I remember the feeling of gripping my sword. That brief you read, it listed all the charges, all the causes of death. The fifth man, the cop they say I killed. How did he die? Ooh. Stabbed through the back with a sword, skewered like a piece of goddamn meat. And you've got the balls to ask us to carry him to a hospital? I don't think that's quite how I phrased the request. I've been paying close attention. Would you like me to play back what you said? Not right now, Sparky. Reyes, she's just doing her job. It's not like she's asking. Oh, save the lecture, gray hair. Gray? Come on, my hair isn't... It's graying, maybe, but in case I haven't made it clear, I've never liked you, Morgan. Oh, you're breaking my heart. I hadn't noticed. But I never took you for a mob lawyer. To whatever my client's associations might be, he's a cop killer. Innocent until proven guilty isn't a phrase I coined myself, detective. Okay, now we have both our profiles. Let's take a look. Farah Reyes. Homicide detective, 3rd class. Like sneakers, volcanoes, and the Paralympic. Really? Well, I guess because she's got the prosthetic eye, she might have particular interests. Dislikes scalpers, hoarders, and whatever this is. Favorite TV is civil engineering documentaries. Shampoo? Dunno. Conditioner is more important. Undefeated at volleyball. Huh. And Detective London. Homicide detective first class. Still not fully shaving since chapter 1. Likes duct tape, mascara, and why duct tape, detective? That seems strange. Dislikes parking lots, ties, and honeydew. Don't we all? Is the best at finding new restaurants. Commendations. None displayed at his workstation. Wardrobe more expensive than it looks. Oh, duct tape is useful, but it's like duct tape next to mascara. And okay, it is a spice. I wasn't 100% on that, but here we have mascara, which I mean, it does look like his eyeliner game is about as strong as the other people present. Considering, well, at least 2 of them are quite feminine. I can't remember Reyes. But still. I guess I can see it. But then oak tree and duct tape. It's a lot of different directions. Also, wait, what the... Oh, it's a buckle for going... Okay. Buckles and this seems weird. What do I know? I don't wear jackets like that. It's actually somewhat important. Oh, don't worry about that. The proving won't take us long at all. Do you always take pride in rushing your investigations? Ooh, call back to Chapter 0. We've all seen the same intake file by now, yes? My client was in bad shape when he was arrested, but his wounds were treated in medical transport. Yet somehow, in between arriving at the station and his booking, all his wounds were reopened. And some of them had multiplied. Tell me if you can, great detective. How will we ever solve the mystery of the reappearing fractured skull? Your client was being moved between floors. He struggled, trying to escape, and then he fell down the stairs. Really? Was there a lawnmower waiting at the bottom? Look, we're all adults here. So let's just say it. Your coworkers kicked the shit out of him. Well, what do you want me to do about it? I want you to uphold the law. For some reason, I thought you cared about that. A police badge isn't a time machine. By the time he took custody, he was already... She's right, Tiger. What's done is done. You know you've got a snowball's chance in hell of proving your client was assaulted while in police custody. And you'll never get charges brought against the officers who did it. So try asking for something doable. Don't go give away all my best tricks. The door-in-the-face tactic is already fragile. I want him to see a doctor. You've got to be shitting me. That's a blooded KW in there with military-grade mods. He's not leaving this building. But we could have a doctor brought here. And give him the chance to take a hostage. He's not the 99 man, Reyes. You can't break his cuffs. Don't say 99 man. You don't know what it means. You're too old. Okay, this is new. The 99 man, or a 99 man, refers to a theoretical state of being in which a human has replaced as much of their body with cybernetic equivalents as possible. So, Ship of Theseus type deal. Term first appeared in speculative fiction short story carved out of marble by M.P. Smith, but rose to prominence after the 2072 Paralympics when middleweight track and field gold medalist Ayid Saffron quoted the story as inspiration after breaking the world record at the time for the 800 meters. Since then, the phrase has been popularized as both a meme and a thought experiment, opening up discussions about transhumanism in sports, the business world, education, and beyond. Some social media influencers, athletes, or tech evangelists have taken the 99 man as a challenge, modding themselves as much as possible, with the explicit goal of approaching what they see as the current limit for transhumanism. Officially, the individual who has had the greatest percentage of their body mass replaced with artificial analogs is an anonymous male adult living in the Eastern Hemisphere who was suffering from a rare and terminal form of bone cancer. before signing up for an experimental surgery offered through How Industries' Theseus initiative. Okay, so they're just like, no subtlety to that. And I already called out the ship Theseus thing. Great job, game. But also, How Industry again. Oof. Let's see, we're currently helping the Ikariya family, so I assume How Industry is going to be a bigger threat or client later in this game. Not this chapter specifically, but later game. Threats always got to get bigger over time. How officially describes the patient as currently living a normal and productive life, though Theseus has never produced any consumer market products and has not published any additional research papers in the last 2 years, leading some to question whether the results are at all replicable. Which I guess is a valid concern. Just because it worked for one person's body doesn't mean everyone's body will have the same. Genetics will be a bitch like that. There's also the willingness to undergo it. Actually, wait, what was that other thing? Oh, evidence. We didn't look at medical records yet. Jeebus. Scanrio's comprehend the scene. Injuries noted at the time, blood from various sources across the interior or front of the body. Numerous bones and left hand broken, as if from impacting a hard surface. Slight laceration found on left hand. Internal bleeding throughout the torso and skull. Bruising and rope burns on both wrists, as if bound. Numerous bruises on the interior or front side of the body. Others blood across the tops of feet and pant legs. Largest wound found on the crown of the skull, back of the head, near the top. At the time of booking, numerous additional injuries were noted, including bruise to left eye, busted lip, broken nose, boxed left ear, and blood trauma to interior or front right side of the head. Is the right side when viewing or from his perspective? It's got to be while viewing. When aware these additional injuries were sustained is not noted. How about a medic who can't be taken hostage? A medical ad? Sure, great. Let's see if we can't negotiate his premium lower while we're at it. Is that a refusal, Detective Reyes? Oh, I didn't say no, did I? Great. He also needs a protective detail. Lady, I swear to counselor, protective details are comprised of off-duty cops. I don't think that'll have the outcome you're looking for. No. But if my client is left unattended one more night, he's likely to be declared unfit to stand trial when he shows up to court with his head caved in. An outcome I genuinely believe you're not looking for either. We could keep him here. What, in the interrogation room? Counseling quarter. They both respond. Wait, both Sarah and oh, that's great. Table can't be moved, but you slide the chairs out of the way. Floor's not actually that hard. How do you even know that? Being poor. In long nights, it happens. Given what other lodgings he's had the last 24 hours, I don't think your client will mind. So, if Detective Reyes and Detective London take shifts keeping watch, now we're keeping watch. It is the Homicide Department's counseling quarter. You think I give a shit what happens to that son of a bitch? You think I wouldn't walk in there myself, and you wouldn't. But it's not in your nature. What the hell is that supposed to mean? You either have it or you don't. Trust me, if I had the chance to take a swing at that son of a bitch... Yeah, you already called him that. Piece of shit, a bastard, a killer. But unlike every other cop I walked past to get in here, you've yet to call Sosuke an animal. So what? What the hell does that matter? It's the only thing that matters. I've got the outsider's perspective, so I know. Your average human can do anything to anyone, so long as they're not a person. Think what you want, creep. Well, so long as that's your only request, we should be able to. I need to get into the crime scene as soon as possible. You've gotta be... What, like tonight? She's not rushing more than anyone else, sunshine. Everyone up the line has been raring to go on this. Now that Sosuke's actually got a lawyer... Well, maybe if that son of a bitch hadn't clammed up all day, we wouldn't... She said it again. Whatever. Pick then, counselor. You can bully us into guard duty or escort duty, but we can't do both. I need both. You'll have to split up. But I can help with that. Or rather, Sarah can. I can? Of course you can. You can go treat Sosuke. Adonai, I am not trained in... Oh, I love this bit. She's pretending she doesn't remember being registered as my medical ad. Yes, I would never forget that unforgettable experience. But I've never done first aid before. Well, watch a tutorial first. Use lots of sanitizer. Just hand her some bandages and she'll get Sosuke looking good as new in no time. Pressure's on. Then you can plop her in front of the door, and even 20 crooked cops working together couldn't get her to budge. That much is certainly accurate. I have a strong core, so if I focus and lower my center of gravity... Thanks for the sales pitch, but doesn't mean shit. The crime scene is in lower wards. If you think, after what happened last night, that any cop with a pulse would go down there without their partner... It's okay, sunshine. I'll take her down there. Is everyone else in here off in Nirvana? London, it's in Blue Blood territory. Blue Blood territory outskirts. Really? They lost a whole pod. They'll be swarming the place. You can't go down there without backup. Backup, huh? You know Mac from Contraband? Skinny guy. Kind of a perv. Yeah, he's skinny. Look, he's got crime scene analysis sweeps going over that place with a fine comb right about now. Drones, probes, the works. They'll have eyes on us before we get within 5 minutes of the place. Whatever. Just keep in contact for once. I hope you're being generously compensated, Eve. Sell your soul to the mob. It'd be a shame if you didn't at least get a good price. Hey, you come in blinkers. Gotta find where they store all the medkits in this dusty old piece of... Go on. I'll be right behind you, detective. Sorry about that. She is still new to all this, really. Not old like me. She does seem to be on edge. More so than usual. It's her first time losing a fellow officer. I think she's taking it pretty hard. Maybe even personally. Do they know each other? Ah, right. Gather up all your things, although bring us a ride. Great. Thanks for all the help, detective. You're a lifesaver. This is one occasion where I wouldn't have had any trouble finding the place. Not that she can admit that to anyone. Really didn't take you that long to patch him up, huh? Now we just wait here. All night. That clock runs pretty slow. Sarah. Great conversationalist. If you're not doing anything else, detective, might you be interested in answering some questions? Ooh, are we gonna get some info from Sarah? Oh, credit to a team, even though she's just a paralegal. Thus far. Once more into the depths. When I went down to lower wards last night, I knew what I wanted to find. I wasn't sure where to look. Now I know where to look, but I have multiple priorities to consider. Be nice if I can prove Sosuke's innocence. Won't be easy, given that they think he killed a cop. But it'd keep me on the Ikariya's good side. That'd be nice. What is essential is that I figure out what the hell happened after I left. Whether anyone found any trace that I was ever there. Everything else is secondary. Sorry, guess I should have asked before I decided we'd be sharing a cab. I don't mind. But I am surprised. Did budget cuts take away your shiny patrol car? Patrol cars are shared, counselor. Any cop can stop into any other cop's car, see their credentials, and drive. Actually, I can see two reasons for this from the Doyleist perspective. One, reusing an asset they already have of the various cabs we have taken in the other chapters. And two, a more reasonable situation where they might actually have a conversation rather than while he is driving and getting distracted by talking. Thank you for the book club and hit me upside the face with books. Convenient. Shame you can't personalize. Yeah, no more dice in the mirror. Is that why we're in a cab then? Personal taste. Police cars are full of bugs. Thought you might appreciate the privacy. The auto cabs are full of bugs too. True, but there are ways around them. Are there? I didn't know that. Yeah, plenty. It can be as easy as flashing a police badge. Something you want to discuss in private, detective? Ooh. Not quite sure if I like this literal color tone shift. I was asked to get in contact with you and pass along a message. A secret admirer. Certain interested parties and all that, you know how it is. I'm not sure I do. Does this have something to do with my client's business affiliations? There would be a lot more blustering if I were to repeat it verbatim, so I'll paraphrase. Focus on getting the best outcome for your client. More of a reminder of what my job description is than a warning. And don't broaden the scope of your investigation any more than strictly necessary. Well, I always appreciate kind words of advice. But Detective London, that almost makes it sound like you're on the take. That's this city, Tiger. If you don't take a little, they bury you. Alive, if need be. Oh, they will? How conspiratorial. It's not a joke, Morgan. Do they threaten your wife with Tommy guns if you don't comply? It's got more sophisticated than that. Well, maybe sophisticated isn't the right word. Complicated might be more accurate, or you could just call it a quagmire. Or even a shitstorm. If you can't get along to go along, even other cops won't trust you. You'll end up shot in the back, friendly fire. A tragic newspaper clipping. You're exaggerating. You're telling me the entire police force is corrupt. Corruption would be one thing. You could, in theory, root it out. But above and below the canopy, it's all intertwined. Every tree stabilizing every other tree. What do they call that? Not parasitism. Commensalism. There you go. The state pays criminal informants to rat on their peers, lets them keep their positions in exchange. Workers by judges and politicians keep their men out of prison. Status quo, balancing act, a cycle. Stable as any gyroscope. Forgive me if I find that hard to believe. Crime is at an all-time low. That's not a contradiction. People hate crime. What gets people killed is chaos. And the opposite of organized crime is... So everyone's playing nice with each other? Even Detective Reyes. Jeez. What about the man they think my client killed? Did he play nice? He was a special case. You got the brief? You recognize his last name? It's big city. I don't put too much stock into last names. You'll need to break that habit if you continue to work in the underworld. Sosuke said something similar. Tariq Chopin, only son of Miguel and Dominique Chopin. Oh, this ain't good. So this is the cop in question. That's... Well, first off, this outfit looks either very paramilitary or like a laborer. Like, this is a similar, like, not exactly the same, but very similar layout for separating colors for, like, a reflective vest or jacket. High-vis, that's a high-vis vest. It's also got a symbol on a sleeve as if representing company, so that'd be, like, private security more than police. I don't like it. Obviously, patrol officer, deceased. Likes 24/7 news, calligraphy, late dinners. Dislikes gray hairs, unticked shirts, and mint. Is this Tariq Chopin or... Wait. I will touch on that after going through this. Education. He has a Bachelor of Science in Applied Philosophy, and he went into fucking cops? Weird. Awarded the Senatorial Commendation of Bravery posthumously. Survived by fathers Miguel and Dominique Chopin, city councilman. Okay. Okay. So I thought I had with the gray hairs thing... Oh wait, this is dislikes. Okay, never mind. If it was likes right here, it's just like, man, you with Detective London over here, but no. Probably more at odds with him. So I think... Oh. Nah, it looks like a tucked-in shirt. The power couple? Why would the son of two of our city's most prominent council members be working as a police officer? You want the full story? Always. Alright, we'll start with Chopin. So who was this Chopin really? An idealist. Wrong way to work then. You're only half right. When he entered the academy, everyone assumed it was a political move. First step in his career to becoming a senator or whatever. Maybe it was, but anyone who met the guy could tell you he would have made a lousy politician. You're saying he was honest. Wouldn't tell a lie if his life depended on it. Guy couldn't do small talk, much less make friends. Talking about cleaning up the city, cleaning up the police, cleaning up everything. If he was so unpopular, why was he kept on? No one on the force wanted to risk insulting his parents by firing him. Just got passed around from department to department, detail to detail. He did a lot of community outreach. Community outreach. What, like bake sales? Like giving talks at schools about saying no to drugs until you turn 21. Oof, must have really loved his job, put up with that. Or he just wanted to prove a point that badly. And the lower wards? Don't you try to save lower ward patrols for the more seasoned, better armed officers? We do, yeah. How'd you know that? By going to lower wards and looking at the cops you send there, of course. I read about it in Watch magazine last month. Oh. If Chopin was the son of such powerful men, why'd he end up in lower wards last night? That... I don't know. You don't know. By all accounts, he and his partner should have been at least 2 patrols removed from that area. Must have been following up on some other lead. His partner, who's that? The hero... Ooh. Alright. Ooh, the hero who finally arrested the Hound of Ikariya, that's who. I'll have to send him a congratulatory fruit basket. Huey Rogers, pretty bare-bones record, but maybe that'll just add to his legend. What legend? Taking your client alive. Whacked him on the head with a sidearm, knocked him out cold. Guess it is a small miracle that Sosuke wasn't just shot dead if they thought he killed a cop. Maybe, but it wasn't pure luck. The only thing that did stick out to me in Rogers' record was his shooting score. 41. Out of 100. You need 40 to pass. I think someone took pity on him when tallying up his score. So he only whacked Sosuke on the head because he's too bad of a shot to avenge his partner. At least Rogers knows his weaknesses. The Hound itself. I keep hearing that name, the Hound of Ikariya. I cringe every time. No one actually calls him that, right? Sorry, but I've definitely heard that name circulating around organized crime before. Must be one hell of a bodyguard to have earned a nickname for it. He's a bodyguard? Then yeah, must be pretty good. Of course, hound dogs are known for other things besides guarding. Sorry, that was crude. Oh, don't be sorry. I don't even get enough of the joke to be offended. Okay, that all makes for some interesting food for thought. But Detective London, if you are working for the Blue Bloods... Excuse me. I never said I work for the Blue Bloods. It's more of a gig worker type thing, Tiger. I'm friends with everybody. If you are working for the mob in general, then how do I know you're even taking me to the right place and not to... Whoa. I may pass a message along here and there, but I'm not... Damn. Hell, no one else is either. Whatever you're imagining, it's not that exciting, I promise. Not that exciting. Sounds about right. Isn't like this in every city. Handshakes and gentlemen's agreements behind closed doors. You disillusioned yet? The state has a great deal of power, Detective London. It makes countless rules. Now, I'm a big girl. I know that those rules don't apply to people equally. And I understand the value of criminal informants, the possible conflicts of interest that arise in trying to keep them around. What I don't get is why the state has all this strength, and it won't use it to just wipe the underworld off the map. That's pretty cold logic. I'd expect my state to be far colder. Hey, you ever heard this one? A politician, a CEO, and a mob boss are sitting around a round table with a gun in the middle. Who are you betting on? Politician, CEO, mob boss. On surviving or getting the gun first? For getting the gun first, I'm going to say CEO. CEO looks at a loaded gun, sees the bullets in the clip as inventory that needs moving. Plus, they're used to taking a job and setting up their golden parachute before anything else. I doubt they'd walk into that room without first planning how they're getting out of it. Fair enough. CEOs only get the job in the first place by convincing their board they can navigate high stakes. But it's a trick question, of course. Rock, paper, scissors has no trump card. Ah! So, Baringa, you were close, the trick question nature of it. Just a different direction. The politician can bring the heavy arm of the law down onto the mob boss if he doesn't shoot the CEO for him. The mob boss can have the CEO's family killed if he doesn't blow away the politician first. And the CEO can turbocharge the campaign of whomever the politician's opponent is if he refuses to miss the mob boss. Yeah, sounds like you could make the argument to go in the other direction, too. You could. So the point the riddle's meant to teach is this. Whoever convinces someone else to pull the trigger comes out on top. Funny. So in the parable you set up the gun on the table. That's the police. A blameless tool with no will of its own. Yeah, though it was older men and I who set it up. Didn't realize this country's police were so powerless. How ever do you manage? We used to have a partner that helped us out, a tiebreaker. Because all three of those powerful men would be screwed if a journalist told the world they were meeting together. I've got good news for you, detective. Journalists still exist. I could introduce you to one. You could even take a photograph. Oh, I know they're not extinct. People will always write. Just that no one wants to pay them to. Ooh, that's the rub. Sorry, didn't mean to talk so much. Maybe it's nerves coming back down here. What happened the last time you visited? Something up? Didn't put you to sleep, did I? No. Actually, your 3-seat table reminded me of an even older thought experiment. If God is omnipotent, why does he allow the existence of the devil? Even I know that one. To preserve free will or whatever, right? Yeah, that's the answer most people give. But now I'm wondering if it isn't a rock, paper, scissors deadlock like the one you just described. God lets the devil be so he'll terrify man, and man will always need God's warm protection. And God needs man's faith, which can't be compelled. Of course, most people would also say that God's long dead in the 21st century, but we're still around. So that leaves the devil in an awfully strong position, doesn't it? You always picture 3 men in that room, don't you? Huh? Yeah, I guess I do. Sorry. Do 55 feminist rosaries for your penance. I think that's a good point to take a quick little break for anyone needing the restroom or snacks. We'll click through the next conversation thing because I don't know if this will time out to the next one. Here we go. Then we go into the phone. Ghoulsrua. I'm not sure what you meant by Ghoulsrua, but okay. Cosmic Tier time? No word. Alright, but yeah, let's go BRB screen. And we are back. During our break, we missed the explanation by Barango. When the key smash, the whole board is their oyster, not just the middle rows of letters. Are you being earwormed with Epiphany from Sweeney Todd? No idea. To the best of my knowledge, I've not heard any song in its entirety from the Sweeney Todd musical. I do know the context of what that story is about. But it just wasn't my kind of music. I think I only know 2 from Les Miserables, or however it's supposed to be pronounced. And one of them is, Can You Hear the People Sing the songs of angry men. Absolute banger, that. Alright, we should be at the crime scene now. Just make sure we didn't miss anything. Yep, nope. Just that we are down the lower wards at 6 p.m. in the afternoon. Somewhere in the summery time of year, because it looks a lot brighter out than our midnight meetup. There we go. Detective London. We're definitely not alone down here. But when you reassured your partner that we'd have company, I didn't think you were including blue bloods. Ah. I knew I'd forgotten to mention. What? Well, then she's a liar, babe. Because I never said that. No, I never said that. Oh, come on, babe. That's what she's like. She lies for fun. Because that's what I call you, babe. It's a pet name. You like it. No, don't hang up. Don't hang up, baby. Don't hang up. Of course I do. We gotta get to work, hon. I'll I'll have to call you back, babe. Something just came up. London, what is this? London, who is this? Counselor Morgan, this is Adelaide Hahn. She's a blue blood. Hey, I'm a perfectly legitimate career woman. You're speaking to a Zionist security site manager. Okay, I can see where the blue from Blue Blood came from. If you need anything, miss, please don't hesitate to reach out. Oh, and it's part of evidence. With rings for punching, yeah. Also, actually, wait, for that, what is... Is that a bandage? It's like part of a wrist-based mod, who knows. But anyway, we just got some evidence called Miss Hahn's card. Adelaide Hahn's business card listing her as a site manager at Zionist Security, a known front for the Blue Blood criminal organization. Includes her personal contact number on top of her work details for some reason. Oh, Morgan. Like, it's not just me. She's clearly flirting with her, right? It's like, here's my personal number on my business card. Take it. A real business card? It even has a watermark. I'm not familiar with Zionist. We are a private security and investigating firm. Thank you for the Wilhelm again. We provide bouncers, arms escorts, we catch cheating partners, runaway debtors, run paternity tests, that kind of stuff. And that's terms for Zionist. Zionist Security is a trusted partner in your business ventures, offering a suite of private security services, including, but not limited to, bodyguards, convoys, bouncers, private investigators, paternity tests, family history research, and shipping insurance. Answer a few questions about your needs in our portal below, and we'll get you set up with the peace of mind you've been searching for. Your browser may prompt you with a security pop-up when interacting with some of the features on our site. You can safely disregard these messages as they are related to a legal matter that has already been settled out of court. We apologize for the disruption in your site experience. Ready to get started? It's a tip from an old timer out there, kids. If you're getting security pop-up messages from your computer when you're on a particular site, maybe get the fuck out of there before you catch something. Sorry, but have we met somewhere? No, it can't be. I'd never forget a beauty like you. She's the Hound's lawyer, Hahn. Seriously? She works for those copper-headed scumbags? Pop-ups are full of my... Oh, I'm not even referring to those. I'm talking about, like, legitimate security pop-ups from your computer saying, hey, this is suspicious as hell and it's asking for such and such info. You should get the hell out of here. Also, yeah, any site that automatically tries to have you download something that you did not do any sort of, like, click here to download or right-click to save or whatever, yeah, get the fuck off that site. And delete whatever they forced you to download. Don't trust that shit. In fact, if you have the ability on your browser or phone, turn off the setting to automatically download anything to your device. That's the safest thing, and you should be doing it anyway. Especially with fucking AI getting shoved into browsers. Fucking bullshit. So, we're mortal enemies? That sucks. Another life then, eh? But I'll still play nice if you will. Oh, and now we get Hahn's profile. Okay. Site manager, Zionist Security, likes new furniture, silk clothes, and dimples. Dislikes clingy types, jealous types, or needles. Like, are you speaking like medically speaking, or have you just been threatened by needles from either or of these types? Plays pickup games, avoids laundry day, and least favorite chores, throwing out dead flowers. Oh, she's not a player. She's a playa. Also, it is some sort of maybe not a mod, but at least an assistance thing. which is nice. Drug deals, I mean, that's another possibility. Being in security. Right. So you're private security, and you're currently securing this crime scene? Yeah? What's with the tone? What you're hearing is genuine bewilderment. Then why are the police letting blue bloods contaminate the crime scene where a cop died? Oh, come on, we don't have cooties. If this wasn't the location where a cop died, we'd have already turned full control over to them. What? The police contract out the security around crime scenes to private companies all the time. And around here, the private company best suited for the job happened to be Cyanus. Letting them conduct their own side investigations is a small concession to keep the peace. A small concession? They're probably in there destroying evidence as we speak. We have the arcs to preserve the crime scene. They can burn the building down and we'd still have a pristine copy. London Bridges is trying to save face. The police couldn't keep this crime scene off limits without our help, and he knows it. Gremlins would be smashing their shiny cameras and popping their expensive tires round the clock if we weren't here. Lower ward kids take out drones by tossing shoes at them for fun. Is that why you see shoes hanging off of wires? No, I don't know why that happens. God, it's a hobby as old as time, I guess. It's just a thing teens have always done for fun. It's like, is it truly a neighborhood that's well lived in and that rich people refuse to live in if there aren't at least a pair of sneakers around some electrical line? Fine. Maybe the cops and the blue bloods are all consummate professionals who never even bicker. What kind of impartiality can I expect coming here to defend an Ikariya? Well, you might get some ugly looks from those with less chivalry, but no one's going to get in your way. We know how defense attorneys operate. We know damn well how you usually win. No one's going to do anything that'll let you worm the Hound out of his life sentence on a technicality. You sure you wouldn't prefer that? To have him back out on the street so you can take another shot at him? Oh, so flattering. That's how you flirt? What does that mean? You think we'd ever manage to gun down the Hound of Ikariya in the street? Shank him in a holding cell? Blue Bloods took him alive just fine the other day, didn't they? Yeah. Look what happened to them afterwards. So, you won't tamper with the crime scene, just because you want to make sure the state lobotomizes Sosuke for pentuple homicide. Yeah. I mean, we also literally get paid good money to do these kinds of jobs, so we have a reputation to maintain. Rate us 5 stars when you're done looking around, okay? I'll be sure to leave a glowing review. So, this is the main entrance. Front door looks about as heavy as I remember, but it's unlocked. What's that? How was this door found? Chopin and Rogers were the first officers on the scene, responding to gunfire. Someone heard that? Good thing I cleaned up fast. Checked the area, then entered through the front door. The door was definitely locked when I arrived. I didn't lock behind me when I left. I didn't have any keys. Admiring our handiwork, this is a Cyanus installation. Who else would Blue Bloods trust to secure Blue Blood buildings? How does it lock? You never used a key before? Ooh, ouch. I want to know how the lock functions. Does it lock behind you automatically? That's a good question. You looking to buy? Because I could set you up. It is a good question, Han. Why don't you answer it? Yeah, this model locks behind you by default. Need a key to get it in if someone doesn't unlock it for you from the inside. A physical key. Physical keys can't be hacked or overridden by a police badge. Ooh, that feels like she's looking directly at London there. Some people consider those useful features. Is that why the door's ajar? Looks like the lock's been destroyed. Was it found like this? Yeah, for as long as the arcs have been up. Okay. Yeah, alternate reality thing. Does it... Nothing looks new from last chapter. And no other big buzzwords or proper nouns that haven't already come up. Actually, that have already come up this chapter. It definitely wasn't locked when me and Reyes arrived, which was around 10:20 p.m. Hang on. You and Reyes. What, were you the second officers on scene? That's right. We weren't far when the 10-999 went out at 10:15. Same response code, and most frequently to signify that one or more first responders' lives are in danger. Let's see, most inter-issue suite biomonitors allow for this to be sent out across emergency networks automatically when cardiac activity is disrupted or blood pressure changes rapidly. Okay. Long way from Precinct 254, isn't it? We were in the area. Awkward. You want the tour then? Actually, I'd like to check out the alley first. You know, the crime scene's on the 3rd floor, right? Yeah, but it has a window that opens the alley, doesn't it? I just prefer to start from the bottom and work my way up sometimes. Sure, we can start there. Just be careful where you step if you like those boots at all. Alrighty. So we got that thing to read. Lobo King? Not sure what that's supposed to say. Got a dumpster. We got a pie. And there. And nothing hidden down low. Okay. This looks like a very stylized spelling of teal. Not sure what that is. We'll start with this reading segment. Well, actually, when was the last time I saved? Let's see, time. Let's see, -12. That's a while ago. Let's start the new saves from beginning of all these. Wait, did we get new evidence on this? Oh, front door. Door enters crime scene. And, locks automatically when leaving. Trey definitely had to unlock it to let me inside. Didn't think to see if it had locked behind me after I left. Okay. And the new evidence. Oh, one problem with blue bloods and cops running security. I don't know who to blame for leaving their shit here. I'll give the moral high ground to whichever part of society learns to pick up after themselves first. Ooh. Bombing ruled out in university fire. Panic bounded last week on campus when the computer labs at Nor Technica University were set ablaze in the early hours of the morning. Students and faculty skirted the campus in anxious, hunched postures as federal agents descended on the lab's vicinity, searching for signs that could point to a culprit. As of today, the fire has officially been ruled an accident and successfully traced back to a cooling system failure in the basement's main server hub, a freak accident that has provided simultaneous relief and confusion to the community. When the fire was first reported on, many were quick to point out its similarities to other fires and bombings recently reported as sweeping eastward across the nation. Dubbed by some members of the press as work of the Witch of the West, each incident appears to have targeted data infrastructure, hitting state, corporate, and academic nerve centers, leaving behind significant financial grief in the aftermath. Hundreds of thousands of files related to student debt, all of it non-recoverable, said one anonymous campus security specialist after their university's student registry records went up in literal smoke. We're reaching out to alumni as quickly as we can to try and piece their records back together, but frankly, a lot of them have been less than eager to speak with us, and we may have no choice but to re-examine payment plans for our current students' tuition. Federal investigative officials have no formal comments at this time, but some local law enforcement officers have described seeing federal agents frustrated with the so-called witch. Criticism of the response has begun to surface from the political realm, with Senator Colt now formally calling for the Director of Investigations to testify as to the progress or lack thereof in the search for this serial arsonist and other notable. Hey, we don't seem to have your ID in our database. If you fill out a simple form for us, we can get you the rest of this article, along with a ton of other cool offers and limited time sales, served up exclusively to a compliment ID 09 like you. So, first things to note, just because the hilarity of it, a senator named Colt, man, they seem like they're going to be real quick on the draw. But wow, surprise, surprise, a bunch of former students paying off debt, not being quick to, confirm how much they still owed. Ooh. Man, that sucks so much, huh? Gosh, if only the U.S. went back to fucking not charging students to go to secondary education after high school. Fucking... One of the streamers I follow in the Netherlands, that's right, unfortunately went to college during the short time they actually charged for tuition and is recovering from that student debt. Like, just in the perfect storm of years of joining on, costing money, and it not being forgiven when they decided that's fucking dumb. Let's not charge students. It's like, do you want there to be no incentive for people to try and get smarter, to improve not the bottom line, the minimal intelligence level of the nation? You make it too expensive for the average person to get involved. Despite some of the best inventions that have not become from specifically funded groups for their creation, have come from people who really just were not super high educated people, coming with different worldviews and thoughts. Okay, the point of this, what media analysis will we get questioned about? A serial arsonist, the fact that it seems to be for quote-unquote good deeds, such as wiping out debt, and them being dubbed the Witch of the West. I feel like I've heard stories about bombings out west the last few months, but I didn't know they'd all been attributed to one person, or that they're now calling them the Witch of the West. There's no mention of victims, only data centers being targeted, but clearly this witch is hitting someone where it hurts. They've now got... I think it was feds involved, yeah. What really stands out here is that the federal investigators are getting involved. Most national security agencies were absorbed into the military police complex decades ago. That's a disturbing thought. That bureau has survived, but it's a mere fraction of the size it used to be. Very different in its function. Their modern reputation is that of attack dogs, deployed by the Senate to make examples of political targets. Can't say I like the idea of them being out there hunting for serial offenders. Anyway, we did get a new article. I guess we can't directly look at it here. Dumpster next. It was much darker last night than it is now, and I only took a quick peek. But even so, this looks like it's been moved, huh? Yes. Was trash picked up last night, perhaps? Checking the model number on the side. Looks like dumpsters of this make haven't been picked up by the city in a decade. I didn't realize there was DRM on trash cans. Hey, it's a heavy model, tough to lift, even if its wheels weren't broken. Designed for containing industrial waste, how it ended up here in a residential district isn't that hard to puzzle out, is it? It was cheaper for the Megs to dump their shit on us than it was to haul it to a landfill. Is that why I can see markings on the ground there? From leaks? Oh, you really are a tourist, aren't you? Oh, I've been to lower wards before. But only at night, right? Rain's dirty down here. Stains the ground wherever it falls. Acid rain, like from the history books. Not quite that bad. Just smog combined with precipitation combined with the charms of the city to make dirty rain. Like I said, lower wards spring water. There's a shot named after it. Tequila and pickle juice. Sounds ideal for the trans girls in your life. So is the dumpster empty? Let's see. Hey, grab a glove, you're gonna... Yep, it's mostly empty. Except for a bunch of scrap metal at the bottom. Explains why I can't get to budge. Careful. Get your toe trapped under there? Don't look at me to help you just because I'm modded. Are you saying you couldn't budge it either? I could if a girl was cheering me on. Okay, London, thanks. Don't know what it was expecting to find, really. Now just watch it so you don't... Ooh, that did not sound great. Also, wait, we're getting a closer look at her gear. Considering that they match her rings, I have a feeling they are perhaps enhancing strength, just not to the degree of a full-on replacing flesh and bone prosthetic. Oof. Oh, right, I need to bring that back up. Let the lid slam. Okay, why is dumpster in evidence? Lid makes a very unpleasant sound, as uncovered by Detective London's thorough investigating. Incredibly heavy, yet still shows signs of having been moved. Ooh, wait. Okay. So, the dead cop and his partner were coming over here to investigate gunshots, right? So, hear me out. What if they weren't responding to Morgan's actual gunshots? What if it was the lid of this thing coming down as someone just tossed a bunch of scrap in someone else's dumpster? Alright, there's also an article. We'll just give that scene so we don't have that dot anymore. Sorry. This fire escape would lead right up to the crime scene. Assuming it doesn't come crashing down once you step onto it. It's missing the ladder that would connect it to street level. You're violating fire code with this tetanus trap on. Building inspections, not my department. Besides, who'd want to climb up into a burning building? Firefighters. You're funny, Bridges. Even a copper firefighter wouldn't risk getting singed to save a lower ward's property from burning down. Okay, copper. Darker term for... Oh! Okay, for the ads. Got it. Other slurs for them being clanker, chrome dome, microchip breath, etc. Which are classified as hate speech, actually, arguing that anti-mechanical sentiment constitutes an expression of prejudice. Oh, wait a second. Did I miss part of this? Oh, interested parties in the automated dependent industries have more than once lobbied for it to become a legal slur. Were it considered a form of hate speech, incidents of destruction of corporate property, where such terms were used in prior communications, would qualify for additional severity and higher fines paid toward the damaged party. Under all but the most radical interpretations of hate speech law, however, prejudice can only be directed towards sentient living things. People, animals, or corporations. Oh, I don't like that. That last one makes me go, no. Corporations are not living things. They are not sentient. It should not be included on the list of acceptable hate crime. But that's very cyberpunky dystopia. Okay, even a copper firefighter wouldn't risk getting singed to save a lower ward's property from burning down. That could probably make the jump up there. Ads are heavy. If an android leaped onto that, the whole mess would probably come down top of him. Oh, the fire escape is evidence. Or proceeding poorly maintained, it's missing a ladder that would normally let you climb up from the street. Someone could only freely move back and forth between the 3rd and 5th floor. Wait, between the third floor room where the bodies were found and the second floor room beneath it. Don't know why my mind went fourth and fifth. That's on me. Yeah, modders are heavy too. Hey, looks like the only way into the building is through the front door then. Alright, I'm done back there. So I think I've seen everything I... That's right. I was standing here last night when... The witness. It was dark and foggy. Kid was too far off to make out my face. Weren't they? What is it, Tiger? Nothing. Thought I saw someone out the corner of my eye, that's all. Yeah? Around here, maybe it was an unlisted. What are you... Those are real? Keep to themselves, obviously, but yeah, they're real. I've met some. They inform, sometimes on what they've seen. Never come in to testify, of course. You'd think they'd stand out dressing like that, but... If their camouflage didn't work, they wouldn't be unlisted, right? What do you mean they keep to themselves? Don't they work with any of the gangs down here? Sorry, have I gotten your hopes up or something? Trust me, you've got a better chance of winning the lottery than running into one. Right. Forget I asked. This is an important term. What is unlisted? Unlisted is an informal designation given to individuals, often missing persons or unhoused, who are not being tracked in any government database. Eventual subscription were most often documented immigrants. Following shifts in immigration patterns implemented the Military Service Citizenship Program, aka the Minutemen Bill. Undocumented immigration has sharply declined. While many non-citizens do live and work within the country, they are tracked through immigration monitoring services or as part of their military service agreement until they either leave the country or are fully naturalized at the end of their service. Today, unlisted mostly refers to small groups of seasonal workers who travel the country in migrating caravans to find work, undercutting corporate contracts on various agricultural or fungal installations. Some anthropological studies have described groups of unlisted living in urban, generally poorer areas as what are effectively homeless communities. Unlike most homeless people, the overwhelming majority of them are unhoused for less than 2 weeks. These unlisted actively refuse state housing assistance or assistance of any kind. Concerns about malnourishment, illiteracy, extreme poverty, and rampant mental illness within unlisted populations has, at times, spurred outreach programs that attempt to contact them. But by their very nature as unlisted, actual data on their quality of life or cultural practices is virtually non-existent, making most politicians hesitant to commit resources towards these causes. You ready to go inside? I think so. So long as... No, I'm not with anyone else, it's just me here. Because she's Shrill Princess. Oh, she's got different nicknames for each of her hookups, huh? And delusional, you know that? I'm sure she'll catch up. So you were saying this used to be an apartment building? Somewhere between that and a long-stay motel, yeah. Blue Bloods didn't deviate far from that model when they took over. They call rooms like these vaults. Places stash away a lover or witness, deader when there's too much heat. You've gone through all these vaults, I take it? Cyanus helped us with that last night, yeah. Bringing around master keys, clearing out every possible hiding place. Didn't find a red-handed killer hiding somewhere, did you? Sorry, no. So is this the Blue Bloods' forte then? Securing people, places, and things? You could think of it that way. Guess I always assumed gangs made their money through drugs. Well, the Blue Bloods do deal here and there. But narcotics has been a rich man's game ever since the CDCA rolled in. Okay. Past the 2060s, decriminalized all decriminalized all narcotics use and established the Bureau of Narcotics Oversight to administrate the production, licensing, distribution, and taxation of drugs across the country. Oof. Now I guess. Privatized. Intended to reduce the backlog of criminal cases across the country and provide much needed tax income, while also incentivizing immigration with the promise of amnesty. It was considered a domino effect. Other major nations around the globe passed comparable laws to build up their own depleted war chests and revitalize their local economies. The so-called white wave of global amnesty overturned the international drug trafficking market in just a few short years. The grey wave followed soon after, as money-starved criminal organizations waged economic and literal war against multinational corporations for dominance of this new grey market. Fierce competition for government licenses to produce classic narcotics emerged alongside a race to develop new, more powerful designer drugs and to monopolize on their sale in the months it would take the government to identify and legalize them. While rates of addiction and overdose deaths have dropped since their peak in the last 2 decades, the dangers associated with untested designer drugs and drug distributors' eagerness to earn new customers have continued the fuel debate over the legacy of the CDCA and the white wave as a whole. If you have the funds to ride the grey wave the way House Ikariya does, you can make a killing. They've got the market cornered from black to grey to white to pure green profit. The Blue Bloods hate that they have to make do with all the scraps the Megs in the house don't bother producing en masse. Professional jealousy? How ugly. Why can't these underworld overlords just bury the hatchet, get together and screw over the consumer like reasonable people do? They've tried, if you believe the rumors. About a year ago now, there was some kind of meeting, an olive branch from the golds to the blues. Apparently, the Blue Bloods had a product that the Ikariya wanted to distribute. The Ikariya sell legal drugs now, though. And what kind of product could the Blue Bloods have that the Ikariya couldn't manufacture? Not sure. Maybe that's why it went south so fast. Blood was spilled in less than an hour. The Ikariya aren't the type to keep negotiating after being spat on like that. And so the Blue Bloods remain firmly planted in their lower wards niche. They might not have to take the low end, but they are filling a gap in the market. And that's every proper capitalist's calling, right? Besides, the workers certainly appreciate the protection down here. Workers hire Blue Bloods for protection, but all that stuff is legal as long as you're licensed, isn't it? Legal, yes. Respectable? Most would still say no. So household names, security megs, considered too high risk to be seen in the company of workers. Shortened form of the term sex worker. Okay. Okay. So it's just defining sex workers and their culture in this cyberpunk dystopia. Doesn't help that their average board member is easily pushing 60 years old. You aren't that far from pushing 60 yourself, are you? Matter of opinion. Besides, I'm a very modern, forward-thinking man. Did you finish those 50 rosaries already? Right. And the Ikariya, they don't, compete in that market? No. People at the Ikariya's heights might patronize a courtesan or two in the cloud districts, but they'd never lower themselves to working alongside one. So I don't participate on any side of the sex worker industry, for lack of better terms. Is cloud district actually a term used by that, or is that just a Skyrim reference? Never seen you up in the cloud district. Anyway, hypocrites. That much I understand perfectly. Hypocrisy is the appeal for them. The rules don't apply to me. You can ask for a more pure expression of power. Oh, game, okay. Felt like the game slowed down there for a second. Damn. Worse than I remember. Like a demon tore through the place. Or a devil. Roll credits. Seriously. What the hell happened here? That's what we all get paid to find out, right? Yep. I've definitely got a head start on the rest of you, though. Shall we bring up the arcs? Sure, I'll patch you in. Allow me? If you're needed on the phone, Miss Hahn, please don't let me keep you here. Nonsense, I've got all the time in the world for you. Everyone's treating me like royalty today. Come on, there we go. Augmented reality crime scene. There we go, yeah. Took the words right out of my mouth. Where shall we start? How about with the tall, dark, and mysterious in the middle here? That's your client. He's found standing over Chopin's body by the arresting officer. Rogers, right? Then he knocked Sosuke out? Correct. So why is it this artistic rendition of Sosuke, not a capture from Rogers' body cam? Well, it seems like at the time that body cam was off. Seriously? Hey, I'd chew him out myself if he's here with us. It's department policy to have all sensors green when responding to an emergency. Did all this not qualify as an emergency then? Chopin and Rogers were responding to shots fired. That's not uncommon in this part of town. For two inexperienced officers first on the scene, it might not have come to mind. At least, Chopin could use that excuse. Rest in peace. But apparently Rogers requests replacement body cams nearly every week. Don't know why my brain had issues with that. Okay, who's that big of a klutz? Take away his gun once the city's done throwing him a raid. I'll put in a request. Right then, who's next? Let's see. So we have open window, table, TV. Who the hell? Ooh, that's the new body. We got a scan here. We got a lot of info. Let's start kind of counterclockwise, closest to us. Blood loss from the neck. Even I can tell that much. Stabbed with a bladed weapon right near the carotid artery. Very efficient. Not the kind of kill someone could make without prior experience. My client's a humble bodyguard. Come on now. I know you've got a job to do, but you'll shame him if you don't let him take credit for this one. Miller was no joke in a fight. Take him out with one clean stab to the neck using his precious signature katana. The Hound must be itching to brag about it. I'll defer to the medical examiner on this matter. Thank you very much. Besides Morgan did that, yes. But, I mean, the whole point of taking this case, other than the heaps of money, is to make sure no one else figures out it's her. So she can't exactly brag either. What do you mean? Sato said the same thing. Katana to the neck, in not so many words. Is Miller's blood even on the katana? Even if it is, why would a medical examiner assume katana was used here? My knife is a much better fit for... My knife. Where is it? Where? I gave Sosuke the knife before I left. It should have been found on him when he was arrested. It should be somewhere in the arcs. You looking for something, Tiger? They haven't found the knife. I ask about it anyway, that'd mean admitting that I know it's missing. If I tell them Sosuke mentioned a knife that only killer would know about, I'd be ruining my case before we even enter the courtroom. Or worse, pointing the police in the direction of the knife's real origin. No, was anything found on my client's person when he was arrested? Hey, Braced, and welcome. Yeah, can you believe it? It's like, once again, we are defending a client who is being charged with the crime we committed. But this time, we didn't even, like... what's the correct analysis? We didn't hedge our bets or do anything to make the odds more likely to be in our favor. And apparently our knife is missing. Even though we left a knife with the guy who's back there and is now being framed for this murder. Apparently he's related to a very big crime family known as the Ikariya. So it's an uphill battle. Also because he's being accused of killing a cop while resisting arrest. So the cops aren't much liking him either. Besides a gun, a sword, and a bunch of blood that did and didn't belong to him, no, not even any lint in his pockets. You were looking for lint? Gross. Why do you ask? No reason. Sometimes you gotta shake the tree to see what falls out. Or so they say. Oh, you were blindly guessing. I've been there. Yeah. Something must have happened to that knife. It couldn't have just disappeared. Not from a crime scene locked down like this. I'll need to find it, but I can't just go looking for it. Is this what it feels like to play with a handicap? Yeah. So, you came just in time. That was the first piece of evidence. Someone killed one of ours, probably while resisting arrest. This guy looks guilty enough. Yeah. We have technically 2 guards helping keep eye on him while we investigate here with London. And that's... Oh, right, I can't check the phone here. You might remember her from Chapter 0, Detective Reyes. And also Sarah, who was playing medic to our client who, gosh, wouldn't you know, he fell down some stairs after being picked up in an ambulance and dropped off at the police center. Funny how that happens. Let's see, we were going counterclockwise, yep. Let's assess this body. I'd advise you to brace yourself before opening the autopsy photos for this one, counselor. Yes, this is sufficiently obfuscated. A lot to take in. The skull was crushed. He tripped, yeah. Yes, eloquently put, Barango. Yes, but the cause of death was blood loss from a laceration across the neck. He hit the floor, bled out in seconds. Everything else you're seeing there is post-mortem. Overkill. Not the word I'd use for this kind of shit. Oh, right. And there's this beautiful, absolute playa of a lady who's in charge of the security, keeping the crime scene uncontaminated. Oh, actually, there's a fun bit of evidence we got courtesy of her. Her business card, with her personal number right on it, and, well, don't you know, Morgan, she just doesn't quite understand why her personal number's on there. It just boggles the mind. Oh, calm down, I didn't do it for the fun of it. In this specific instance, this victim had modded eyes. Seems to me like someone just didn't want to take any chances. Bullshit. Knowing the lower wards would get optic mods with recording functionality, you wouldn't be welcome anywhere. You gonna claim the Hound of Ikariya didn't know something that fundamental? Nah, he bashed brains in for the fun of it. I'm sure to a law-abiding citizen like yourself, we're all scum of the earth who deserve... I'm pretty scummy myself, Han. Forward's mind just doesn't work quite like that of a normal human, doesn't it? Yeah. Or, you know, matters of... I was going to say the fairest sex, but that doesn't fully fit. Matters of the heart probably do not come easy to her. Defense attorney, remember? Who the hell deserves shit like this? Just because she's ace does not correlate with anything else. I mean, there's ace, but also it's like, with all the romance movies out there, I think even ace people understand it's like, random phone number on this business card from a woman who has been in 2 conversations on the phone with clearly different partners because she has different nicknames for each call. And who's to say if 2 is the limit? Like, I'm not saying anything against Morgan. I'm just like, the context clues were there. So, maybe closeted. Maybe she hasn't figured out the sexual part of the psychosexual relationship with her DA rival. Deserves? What does that have to do with anything? I know you're being silly, but it's, gotta expand upon it for the VOD watchers. I take it that this is the bat that did the deed. Matches the splinters found inside his wounds, if you had any doubts. There's nothing here about Sosuke's fingerprints. You think we could get anything but partials off of that? It's practically splinters. Makes sense. I was the one who actually swung it down. I was wearing gloves by then. Whoever did this, they were damn enthusiastic. You know how hard they'd have to swing to crush a skull? To break the bat itself? I can't imagine. Okay, what extra do we have on here? She put bat. This one would be on repair during bludgeoning. Fingerprint analysis inclusive. It was barring Sosuke from exiting the other door before I used it to destroy Trey's eyes, but no one else knows that, and I have no way of informing them. What a pain. There's some faint blood that's been smeared here. Did it belong to this victim? And Sosuke. Wonder if maybe the bodies hadn't gotten moved around for some reason, but your client's legs and feet were soaked in others' blood when he was arrested. And he would have had to sneak up on Chopin in order to stab him in the back. You think he slid his feet across the ground to avoid making a noise? Does he say otherwise? I'll let you keep guessing on that one. Also, wait, how quiet would it be to slide your feet across the ground with slick liquid underneath? I have a feeling it's not as quiet as one would imagine. But anyway, those 2. Then there's this door. So this door is where they were keeping Sosuke and where I let him off the leash. I'll leave that for after I finish it here. Oh, well, then why even give us the prompt? But okay. The next one was this. Who the hell? This person was not here when we left. Who the hell are you, really? Why are you lying there dead right in the middle of my crime scene? That was Tariq Chopin, as you might guess. Patrol officer and the son of 2 loving fathers, who have strongly emphasized to the chief of police their desire to see justice done. Reyes wasn't exaggerating about how he died. Run through from behind with a sword. So he would have been standing in front of the desk, then he was impaled, then he collapsed to the floor face first, and the sword got stuck in the ground. Bad luck for the attacker, I suppose. Yeah, Dr. Sato's noted in her report that the stab wound was, in her words, jostled. Pardon? Like the attacker tried to pull it out, but it was stuck, so they had to jiggle it around. Hey, it's probably what saved Rogers' life. Kept your client distracted and disarmed long enough to give Rogers time to rush in. Allegedly. Not where I left you, that's for sure. And according to Sosuke, the one he does recall, after I pass the baton to him, is gripping a sword. You're not giving me much to work with. Fingerprints on the grip match your client's right hand, by the way. Here I was getting my hopes up. And it definitely wasn't suicide, because no one else's prints are on the damn thing. Those versus do various points matches. Chopin, Miller, and Trey. Another murder weapon I had to wipe prints off before taking my leave. It was indulgent, trying to take Trey's head off. It was my only indulgence either. Must have gotten Miller's blood on the blade's tip when I dragged it across the floor. I'm curious, though. If I go back and replayed this and did not care about wiping my prints off, would they have turned up in this? Or would it, no? I was going to say, would I have been put in a position where I have to somehow, oops, got my prints on it. But then I realized, no, this is here, this is the arc. I ruled out suicide once I saw he was stabbed in the back. Thank you. There are papers scattered underneath his body. Did I knock them off the desk at some point? Maybe when the tall one hit the ground? Maybe when I was swinging that bat down on. Hang on. What kind of paper is this? I can't read a word. Really? You should get that looked at. High Visions 2020. What am I looking at, Miss Site Manager? Those dogs are internal business, ma'am. Nothing to worry your pretty little head over. How do you know they're internal business if we can't read them? You really never seen red ink before? Never heard of it. It's corporate information security protocol. Files with special flags trigger specific print commands if you try to make physical copies. Makes its use some kind of special ink. Try to take a photo of it and it comes out a bright blur. Paper special too. Too much heat. Humidity becomes illegible. A corpse bleeding out on top views a lot of heat and humidity, in a sense. So these documents contain confidential data that the Blue Bloods wouldn't want getting out. What do they say in the movies? I can't confirm nor deny that. And if I subpoenaed the data? Do your worst. We've got lawyers too. And unlike your client, they've got all the time in the world to stall. Besides, you and I both know exactly what the Hound's motive was. And it isn't written in those pages. It's written all over his busted-up face. Sure. But you won't mind if I copy down whatever I can anyway, right? I wouldn't have any legal reasons to stop you, if that's what you're getting at. Alright. The red ink evidence. Dr. Fencine, mostly blood after the blood. Apparently contain confidential information of high value, but only the occasional page number, graphic, or name can be spotted. Snippets include payments to supportive possibly construction, re-election funds, Councilman Long to push. Wait. Was Long one of the councilmen that are the parents of Chopin? Re-election funds, Councilman Long to push for, colloquially referred to as the lower wards. B. Vote. Upcoming. Stress the importance. OPSEC the highest detail. Okay, let's... Oh, wait a second. Profile. Oh, right at the top. No, Miguel and Dominic Chopin. Okay, never mind. So it's a different one. What term? Red ink tech. We pretty much got all we need. Oh. First developed in the mid-21st century amidst widespread concerns about hackers after the third net code leak. Red ink practices emphasize the vulnerability of digital systems and espouse the relative reliability of physical documents, printed or even handwritten information that cannot be changed or stolen except through in-person action. More broadly, red ink systems are designed to minimize the time that critical information spends changing hands. Critics of the teachings thus claim it is antithetical to cooperation between peers and leads to siloing of information. Also commonly used to refer to any kind of printed text material that incorporates anti-piracy measures. Common examples include anti-photocopier sheen gloss, paper that degrades outside of extremely narrow moisture conditions, cipher-encrypted text based on extinct indigenous languages, and sleeper marks, printer machine codes left on the corners of documents that are invisible to the naked eye but are unique to individual printers. I've actually heard about that. And that you gotta go a hell out of your way to make sure those marks are not still being placed on your documents. And I mean that in avoiding warranty sort of way. But let's see. Extinct indigenous languages, I think is referring to World War II. I can't remember which First Nation language that was. I know it was using like whole words but only the first letter needed. Pretty much a phonetic alphabet type thing with a few specific words referring to specific actions. Navajo, thank you. It was on the tip of my tongue, and I wanted to say Apache, but it's like, no, that's a helicopter. They wouldn't double up like that. Thank you. Well, actually, was there anything else? Yeah, nope. The Wind Talkers? I thought they were the Code Talkers. But yeah, that's the group I was referring to. There we go. Okay, last we had Chopin's corpse, and there's also a look here. The big one. He made a strange face when I shot him. Loud slam when he hit the floor. This one, real long rap sheet. With a short ending. Buckshot to the torso, died instantly. Flex wearing his mods, but his time of death at 9:44 p.m. Killed by his own weapon. Comes up a bit short of poetic justice, but doesn't look like he's any kind of struggle for it beforehand. That's how a man should get off his hands. It wasn't any great feat, I assure you. Text identified as a double-barreled Mag US. Or U5, perhaps. And... hey, how'd you know the gun was his? Ooh! He's still wearing the holster and the arcs. Was I mistaken? No. About a week ago, Tanks here was stopped and frisked by a patrol unit. And they found this here gun on him. They found this gun on him. And they just handed it back to him. Epon paid for it above board. So this gun isn't jailbroken. You have tag data from the murders. No, we don't. Strange. According to the text, the gun is jailbroken. What happened last week and last night that to get the tags stripped off? Something that made him think this piece would see action soon. Okay, and I didn't miss anything there. Nope. So it's just the table. This. Oh! Wait. There's a read thing there? I didn't even notice that earlier. Paper scattered all over his desk. Suppose I'm partially to blame? Didn't exactly memorize his setup before I started searching for the mask. What's this? What'd you find there? A note? Looks like Creek's handwriting from the other files I've seen. Let's see. Oh, I guess that has evidence too. More terms seen to be code talkers, but there's... oh, okay. I guess Wind Talkers is certainly a punchier title for a film about them too. More specific. And yeah, because radio... yeah, I can see it. It certainly sounds better than Code Talker. Notes called a small piece for reading M. Ikariya. Oh, because it's misspelled. Oh. Handwriting is by and large a match for other documents penned initially by Creek. It was Mag US and Anchor Tang, yep. And modified to an illegal extent. Slugs fired detonate after penetrating target. Increasing lethality. The gun leaves no digital traces via the tags when fired. Horribly gaudy, but got the job done. As I saw it, I'd left it in Sosuke's waistband. M. Ikariya. Looks like M. Ikariya, actually. He's dead. London. I was going to let the spelling mistake slide. So Wind Talker was the Navajo term, preservedly owing to Navajo lacking a good analog code word for code. Yeah. Excuse me. Alright, sorry. But M? That's gotta be Makoto, right? You know Makoto? I know he's the Ikariya's heir apparent. From what I hear, he's an appropriately frightening young scion. He's really quite something. But why would his name be on Creek's desk? He was Creek's real target the other day. Sosuke was some kind of consolation prize. Bagging the Hound was a consolation prize. These punks had their sights set high. Yeah. Like no one taught them not to stare at the sun. Ah, Icarus. Next, we'll do the window. Windows open to the fire escape and the alley below. There's a thin missing of blood across them. Got a good guess as to who it belongs to. This is where we found Creek, leader of the pod. Ballistic tells us the shooter was standing in front of the desk, near where my client was found. Your words, not mine. Nasty slug burst in his chest, blew blood back out into the windows behind him. The open windows. Hell of a spread. Yes, it is. Did someone open these, or... No, they were open when we secured the scene. Any fingerprints? Plenty on the handles there from Creek and his pod. That's where the handles are? Something wrong? Definitely. How the hell could I explain why I know that? No, sorry, I guess I'm wondering about the keys around his neck and the arcs. Look, let's check this new evidence. Any... Okay, yeah. I thought she might have like a something here. One thing I noticed during the initial scenes there's another building like across the alley here that was low enough we could see the tops and some of the structures on it, and there was like an open folding chair. I remember that detail. And I don't know if it's important enough to come up later. I really hope so, because I noticed it. And this particular scene is avoiding an angle where we might naturally see it. I guess I'm wondering about the keys around his neck and the arcs. Oh, well, one was a master key. Could unlock any other door in the building. The other key we eventually paired to a small safe in his desk. Empty, though. Suppose that's all irrelevant, since he apparently died with the keys on his person. Yeah, they caught my eye too, to be honest, but not every detective's instinct pans out. So who was this guy? Curious? Only professionally. I don't care what he was before I killed him. Criminal record dating back as far as it goes. Sealed when he turned 18. What makes you so sure he has a juvenile record then? The more experience these guys get, the more time in between their arrests. Pattern I'm seeing, he was pretty damn experienced by the time he was of age. You trying to compliment him? I wasn't trying to insult him, Han. Anything you'd like to add? Nah, nothing I want to say in front of you two. If you want to say a few words, Detective and I could step... Only words I have are for his killer. I'll deliver them in person. Or not at all. I mean, you can take the chance right now if you like. But no, fair enough. Do you have any idea why someone might want to hurt this Creek fellow? That's not funny. The dog you're defending, it's a fair question, Han. Give it fair consideration. Besides the Ikariya, the rest are our city's finest. Now, Creek was charismatic and driven. Plus, he made us a lot of money. No true blue would want him gone. The bloodthirsty Ikariya soldier he was interrogating, however, probably wasn't a huge fan. What about family? This is getting old fast. Younger brother's listed as next of kin. Leave his brother out of this. Well, leave me out of this. Rooting through a person like you're picking at zits. Well, seems he's out of town anyway. Taking summer lessons at How Mariner U. That's a good school. An expensive school. Younger brother has no listed occupation. Also no priors and no juvenile record. Tad, at his age? Poor kid. Pills for that cost an arm and a leg. Creek must have been sending him... Detective. Did you just leak the confidential medical data of a non-suspect to a third party? Hey, you don't have to report. How about I buy you an ice cream or something? I am a grown-ass woman, sir. 2 ice creams. With sprinkles. Bribery, too? You're taking yourself pretty deep. Is it still bribery if I'm the government official? Okay, that leaves this. Creek's fine wood desk. You seemed particular about it. Maybe in no small part because it had a priceless no mask hidden inside it, but I assume you've been through this datapad here? Front to back, but we didn't find anything we didn't already know. Seems like Creek was smart enough to use it for payments and nothing else. And, okay. Couldn't avoid touching it, had to at least pretend the dark card would work. Yep. That's not anything new for us. How do you manage that? Even gangsters need spreadsheets. Hence the paperwork you see scattered about. They really did everything by hand? PPP is what they call it over in organized crime. Paper and pencil protocol. Personally, if we're going to talk about just, potentially unnecessary acronyms, I'm a big fan of, let's see, how's it pronounced again? PEBAC, right? Problem exists between, keyboard and chair. No, it is PEBCAC. Yep. It's, the funny little error that comes up sometimes when the IT is trying to help a person with the computer. It's like, why isn't this working? Well, sounds like a classic PEBCAC problem, ma'am. Let me just check something again real quick. Helps the orcas keep their books off the books. Or at least in a format that's easier to destroy should push come to shove. Did you run checks on this credit card that's jammed in here? Not surprised you don't recognize it. That there's a dark card. Wow, tell me more. Wow, tell me more. It's an untraceable wallet in the palm of your hand. I would hope any wallet could fit in the palm of your hand, detective. But you really can't find the owner? Can't trace any of its transactions? Most we can tell is datapad registered calls to dark card networks at around 9:40 p.m., but it timed out. What does that mean? Transfer didn't go through. Either someone got cold feet or they forgot their password. Happens to the best of us. New info here. Only reason I had to take my gloves off in the first place was because of this useless piece of plastic. Yeah. Having to thumbnail secure. Sorry, not thumbnail, thumbprint secure. Cecil made a core helix and cosmeteer. Nice. By the way, why has this cloth been flagged? Not sure. Forensics didn't find any blood on it. Who flagged it? Lady Rockford herself. Could be that she fat-thumbed it. Yeah, I'm sure it's nothing. Or it's everything. I don't think there's anything else we'll do. Oh, right, the TV thing. This screen. Turn it on to distract Tanks long enough to grab his gun. And I remember choosing not to turn it back off. Interesting setup. Powerful setup. It was blaring when we arrived. The sound system, I mean. One of the CS techs is real audiophile. Said it broke her heart how loud they must have blared the speakers all the time. Wears it out, she said. And, really was giving me a headache when I turned it off. Didn't enjoy having to turn it back on before I left just to leave no trace. I see yet another Wilhelm. Already given up on the special of the devil throwable I figured out. You'll figure it out eventually. Let's see. I wouldn't count on orcas to value the longevity of their tech purchases. Okay. Chips. What did chips have to do with of the devil? Clues? I mean, I think you're going too abstract. What if I was going for something anyone who had never seen another of the devil stream to get? Poker chip? Yeah, okay. I guess I see that. Well, I don't envy either of your workloads. It's a mess in here. It's a lot of blood, that's for sure. I'm impressed you haven't gotten nauseous, miss. I'd be right at home here if you weren't poking your noses around. Shoot, I just remembered. I'll never hear the end of it if I don't check in with my partner after saying I would. You too good at keep going if I step out to make a call. A call? Is your partner your mom? Fucking got him. Is your mom blind? Sent a text. Thanks for your understanding. And then he leaves regardless. Maybe he was the one with the weak stomach. You be sure to let me know if you're feeling faint. I can keep going. We're nearly finished anyway. I'd sick the arcs if I were you. Nothing behind that door that's better seen in person. You've been such a gracious host up until this point, Miss Hahn. Why the cold feet now? It's ugly in there. Uglier than this. Different kind of ugly, then. It's all in the eye of the beholder. And me? I don't stand for honey. Other than the play on words, that was horrible. Sorry. I warned you. Don't worry. I can stomach it just fine. So long as I can understand it. Why did Creek's pod torture my client? I don't know that they did. Soski told me they electrocuted him, Hahn. They probably just grounded him. Low-grade currents applied every few minutes. Stops most mods from rebooting. So no SOS pings, no adrenaline bursts pulled out of his ass. And the pliers, hammers, syringes, what purpose did they serve? They could have just killed Sosuke when they failed to nab Makoto. Instead they dragged him down here. Why? Try and get info on Makoto's itinerary? Get enough intel to make another run at him? There are already answers for me in here. I'll need a grout scraper to find them. Okay, what do we got? We got the buckets. We got the blood there. Not the bottles on the shelf. No medicine cabinet. There's a hammer here and nothing, really? Okay, we got something down there. Guess we'll start with buckets. It's water. Cold enough that condensation's on the outside of the bucket. Is that water for sponge baths? Just a simple way to keep a guest from dozing off. Temperature shock makes caffeine look like a sleep aid. This coming after you claim you don't know if Sosuke was tortured. You know what the other bucket's for, then? I know you said you've got a weak sense of smell, but do you really need a hint here? But then this last bucket here is... What is that? Trash? Cloth and rope. Bindings. Or bandages. See, they were nursing him back to health. I'll run your theory past Sosuke next chance I get. This must be what's left of what they're keeping Sosuke tied up with. Cut bindings. Stiff with dried blood, clearly cut with something sharp. Okay. Nothing special. They would have had to use something. Yeah, this door doesn't even lock. Not after I remove the bat barring it from the outside. So he was brought here, tied up, questioned. Then he breaks out, bursts the next room, cuts up two of his captors, and blows the other two away. That's what you think happened? That's what it looks like. And then what? Chopin runs in, turns his back on a violent criminal? Don't strain yourself trying to make it sound improbable. Cops are dumb. If the Hound crouched in a corner, he'd have his chance soon enough. Well, he probably just played dead. Walking into that scene out there, you think some patrol officer would go around checking pulses? Why would my client go to all that trouble to get the jump on an officer? Why not just run away? Hell, why not ask him for medical treatment? Because he's standing in the middle of the 4 men he just killed? Ugh. I know that Sosuke had no logical reason to attack Chopin, but so what? Even Sosuke himself says he would have been acting on instinct. Would instinct tell him that Chopin was in between him and his escape? Okay, big blood. Has all this blood been tested, Miss Han? Enough of it has. Besides Sosuke, who else would it belong to? That's a bit lazy, but not as if there's more here than last time I visited. Sosuke really did lose a lot of blood. By the time he stumbled out of here, a stiff breeze should have been enough to knock him over. Is he really such a badass that he still managed to take out a police officer before he'd even noticed? It's not as if I feel nothing looking at someone else's handiwork, the product of their violence. But it's like an artificial sweetener. No complaints for the first instant. Then the aftertaste comes. Empty calories. Just be hungrier again later, faster. Best to stay disciplined. Next is down here. Hypodermic needles. Probably not packing anything healthy. Sosuke better hope they were at least sanitized. I'm not sure Sarah can treat an infection with gauze and rubbing alcohol alone. But those needles there. The design of these needles seem a little odd. Well, someone will tell you sooner or later, so... excuse me. They're projectiles. Load them into a gun and fire away. Sosuke was captured by men wielding needle guns. Does Cyanus Security have any peacekeeping tools they'd like to disclose as having recently gone missing? You're cursing up the wrong pipe. Creek could find tools all on his own, and we're not that kind of operation. An operation where the right hand doesn't know what the left is doing. More like the right hand's just been washed, so if you have to handle some garbage... Cyanus is that legitimate? Why aren't all the blue bloods working legal jobs then? Not enough positions available. You gotta earn like hell to be considered for a job on this side of the fence. Creek and his pod weren't bringing in that kind of money. They liked Creek's pod where it was. Who's they? Upper management. That mask is a death sentence. Crafted specifically for one very special customer. I'm just the one given the honor of hanging on to it until... And did upper management like Creek? I'm just a humble site manager, miss. I wouldn't know. Sure. So do all these needles contain anesthetics? No. They're also stimulants and barbiturate. Originally developed as a hypnotic sleep aid, currently prescribed through, though rarely, as an anti-anxiety and anti-seizure medication. Big pop culture, some drug manufacturers' proposal of truth serum. Never been shown to function as such in a controlled setting. When compared against a sampling of liquors ranging from 40 to 80 proof, barbiturate resulted in truthful confessions, only 0.2% more often. That's fucking nothing. That's a mathematical error at that scale. Only 0.2%. The sample size it'd have to be for that to be significant is humongous. No such has been depriving information that they were not already comfortable with the divulging. Wait, what was that? There's a comment at the end. Shit, what was it called? Barbiturate? Barbiturate. Also frequently searched until... See who has me muted on social media. Oh dear. Anyone who searches that, you might need less social media, to be honest. Also, wait. Evidence, the needles. Non-lethal aesthetics. Common mark to choose them. Yep. Like the truth serum, you can get sued for selling it as such. It makes you talk, doesn't make you say the truth. So they wanted Sosuke talking, but what did they ask him? If your client can't remember, or isn't willing to recall, there's really no one else alive who would know, yeah? The fact that that stuff is roughly as effective as torture itself, mm-hmm. I'm getting a headache, but it's not from anything sensory. I should know more about this crime scene than anyone. Why can't I piece it together? If I can't piece it together, the cops will never trace any of this back to me, right? So why do I feel so ill at ease? Okay, thanks for your patience, ladies. Did I miss anything? Nah. Oh. Would you have felt better if you had? I'm gonna head out now, actually. Got a long day tomorrow. You're going back by yourself then? You sure? I could get you a ride out of the neighborhood. I'm sure Miss Hahn here has already made sure that we'll both get out of here without any trouble. That is her company's area of expertise, isn't it? Of course. Well, at least let me walk you out. Sure, why not? Safe travels. I hope that's not the last we get to see of Han in future installments either. She seems fun. So, Detective, there's something you didn't want to talk about in front of the professionals at Sienna Security. Thanks for picking up on that. Reyes will be upset that you never checked in. Yeah, Right, after this I will. This room. Are we directly underneath the crime scene? Yep, same fire escape right there. Same type of window, too. Has this room been scanned into the arcs? Yeah, but no one found anything noteworthy. Except Sienna's being sloppy. Ooh. 2 back-to-back big comments, let's see. There should really be more declassified info on torture effectiveness from, like, the CIA. There's plenty of data that says torture doesn't work, but all of it's from the Spanish Inquisition. Let's see. Classic ship that, got a couple light... Wait, what are you responding to? Oh, okay. The comment on that name Baringo chose. Got it. But yeah, no, I think it's part of a... If such info has been declassified, it might have been part of a larger document. Or, equally possible, was not properly documented because, well, why would you want to keep track of your failings? Your bosses want to see something that works. Proof that it does not, in fact, work will only make them upset you're not trying hard enough, right? When 10 people have gotten a sex change nowadays, stop being old-fashioned? Yeah. Exactly. So, what were you actually doing when you left Han and I back there? Something Han said earlier? About how no true blue would wish harm on Creek? Her phrasing stood out to me. Because it implies the existence of false blue bloods. Because it reminded me of one of the first things I learned in the city. There are no monoliths. Megs, Orcas, City Hall, there's always factions. And among the blue bloods, the party lines are especially visible. So I made a call, not to Reyes, and confirmed some things. And I figure I owe you a little hint or two, considering the tone of the last message I delivered. That message warned me not to broaden the scope of my investigation. Getting hints from you might be self-defeating. Not these hints, trust me. So, what faction did our pal Creek belong to? The Youngbloods, opposite in the compass from the Old Guard. The conservative blue blood leadership. All of them older than 70, some of them pushing higher than 90. Hans said Creek was too useful for anyone to want dead, but my sources don't agree. Creek talked, said things aloud that others only whispered. Ambitious, charismatic, up-and-coming, and young. Could easily see him being very unpopular with all the wrong people in the Old Guard. That's interesting info, Detective, but doesn't exactly flip this case on its head. I already know who killed Creek. Police have already decided it's Sosuke. Learning that he had some occupational hazards will hardly convince the jury otherwise. My client's the one standing accused, and everyone already knows why blue bloods and Ikariyas would want to kill each other. Do you? They're rival gangs. They hate each other. Do you know why? It's the same reason all the blue blood leadership is ancient, although all their muscles made up of orphans and delinquents. 30 years ago, the Ikariya betrayed their peace with the blue bloods, started killing them. And they didn't stop for days. By the end of it, every single member of the leading blue blood families under the age of 40 was dead. Well, I can see how their kids would grow up to hate the Ikariya. Yeah, you're not getting it, Tiger. Their kids didn't grow up at all. If that's the case, how are the blue bloods still around? For one thing, Ikariya had bigger fish to fry. This was right before the Red Decade. They spent every second of the next 10 years positioning themselves so they could come out the other end as neo-ability. Second, what remained of the blue bloods found a new niche to fill. Taking in delinquents furious at a country, driven off a cliff by adults before they could even get a chance to vote. Blue bloods swelled their ranks to new heights by looking out for little guys during those years, in exchange for favors down the line. Lastly, and most importantly, they survived because they still had hope. You serious? I am. It's a powerful weapon. Hope for what? Hope that the Ikariya had missed one, that they'd fled the country. Hope that a promised heir would grow strong and return one day, a triumphant little lord with overwhelming riches and overwhelming power. Sounds like a fairy tale. Those endure for a reason. Well, now you know. A warning to watch where you step isn't exactly worth much if you're fumbling around in the dark. Fairy tales and warnings. What's up? Ooh. I think we only get to ask one of these. Oh, this is big. If we only get to ask one of these, let's hold it off till next week then. We're only 4 minutes early. And, you know, I think it's time to go ahead and let you guys know exactly what the special secret code word for today is. It's a part of the title of the game. Draw off the most common words, and all you have left is the devil. If anyone wants to toss that in before I go to the BRB screen. I suppose I can go and get a Twitch open and see who is available for rating. There we go. I couldn't perfectly get the actual dunk sound effect that comes in the game during certain awkward moments, but yeah. Dunk dunk. Okay, well, let's see. How is doing it just chatting? Oh, right. Cassiel's doing that Snufkin Lego set. How far in are they? Ooh, nearly 3 hours. They might be... Oh, yeah, it looks nearly done. So we won't go to them. Let's go to Lolatov and Dwarf Fortress. But yeah, for anyone who missed it, I'll do a manually doing of the dunk. Because I have it set to a cooldown of multiple minutes. Here it comes. And the way I got it to spin so erratically, kind of waving back and forth, I had to make the image of that larger than just the actual visual, is in one corner. So when it goes flying, spinning, it looks a lot more erratic. It's just a little fun thing I was testing out. But okay, the BRB screen. And let's get the raid a-going. Lola's only about 2.5 hours in. Yeah, plenty of time. Copy / raid Lola. Boom. Let's see. let's see. I don't have any punchy raid message, so I guess we'll just go with my default of why do people fall, so we can help them back up. But as always, my wonderful tome readers, I hope you are eating enough, drinking enough, getting enough sleep. Take care of your body so your body can take care of you. Hell, even I'm doing that. I had multiple very physically demanding jobs this week, and the next job starts up Friday night, and my legs are still not recovering, so I'm doing my best to keep my at-home tasks planned for this week on the lighter side, because even just standing up makes my thighs just above my knees hurt. Fucking 100 pool tables for some kind of pool tournament going on this weekend as well. Those fuckers are heavy. But yeah, take care, enjoy yourself. I'll see you guys Sunday for another Just Minecraft stream, as it's going to be another long weekend at the expo. See you guys around.